Hi everyone and welcome to NameHero. I'm Ryan, the founder and CEO. Today I want to do a tutorial on how much does it cost to start a web hosting business. So this is probably one of the most frequent questions we get about those that are interested in reselling web hosting. Sometimes this is WordPress designers or developers or just web developers in general. Sometimes it's agencies and other times it's just entrepreneurs, looking to get a new business started. So wherever you fall into that, I hope you get something out of today's video, and I hope it kind of resonates with you and puts things in a little bit of perspective. So let's without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. All right, so if you're not familiar with reseller web hosting, here's kind of how it works at a very high level. One, you sign up for a reseller hosting account. So at NameHero, our reseller hosting accounts, and I say this is a traditional reseller hosting cycle because there's other ways you can resell, but this is, in my opinion, the simplest, fastest, easy, and less complicated way to get started. So the first thing you need to do is buy a reseller hosting account. So at NameHero, we sell web hosting and reseller hosting, VPSs, and cloud dedicateds. Our reseller hosting packages allow you to buy space in bulk so you can resell to your customers. And again, this is the perfect option if you're a developer or designer and you're trying to offer your customers another product, to collect some reoccurring revenue from them. So basically you buy this space in bulk, and it's not just space at NameHero. I've got other videos that kind of explain our features in detail. We provide a ton of different features. One of the biggest that I'm going to talk about today is a piece of billing software called WHMCS. WHMCS is a billing and automation software. And with all of our reseller hosting packages, except the silver, they come with a complimentary WHMCS license. So this allows you to not only have the space and features you need to give your customers to sell, it also provides you with a billing system so they can go to your website, sign up, and it sets up their account for them, and it also handles the billing. This way you can, you collect the payment and it handles the whole process, the whole sales cycle automatically for you. Now, if you say, Ryan, the gold, platinum, and diamond, that's too expensive for me, which we're going to talk about in a second, you can buy our silver and set these accounts up manually. You can collect the payment. You have to have them, send you a check or cash or whatever. And if you take credit cards, you can, set up your own end, and then you can go create the account yourself. That's kind of how I started back in the late 90s. There was no such thing as WHMCS. If there was, I didn't know about it. I started hosting and I'd have to manually collect the payment and then set up their account. So, I feel like if you're wanting to get into reseller hosting, the easiest way and the quickest way is to buy a package with that license. Of course, it's up to you. You only know your business. If you're a designer, a developer, or a plugin developer for WordPress, you might already have a billing system and you say, I don't want to have another one. I'm just going to add this in and I'll set up the accounts myself. Or maybe you have an API in your current system that will do this for you. Or maybe you're a developer and you're going to make your own. Whatever you fall onto that, I just think that WHMCS provides a fast, quick, and easy solution, and that it comes free with the gold, platinum, and diamond accounts. Now, if you go to WHMCS's website directly, they have a couple different license tiers, but the starter license, which is what most startups go for, is $15.95 a month. It's not a lot, but if you're looking at our gold is about $18 a month for the WHMCS plus the space and features you need. It only makes sense to go with a bundled package. But again, you're your own person, so you can decide that for yourself. It helps you save a lot of money. So once you purchase your reseller account, you can then set up your website to where customers can sign up. And I'm going to walk you through a tutorial and show you at the end of this video just how quick and simple that we try to make that, and it is, as long as you follow the directions. Next, resellers, once their site's online, they'll start to market their business, or they'll go out and get customers. They send them to your site, and once they sign up, then your business is essentially off the ground. And again, this is a high level, get your package set up, get your website going, attract customers, they sign up, and then your business is up and running. Unfortunately, I see people way too often will overcomplicate this. And so that's why I'm trying to get this video out. Back when I started in the late 90s, it was not near this easy. I mean, gosh, I had to invest $75 a year for my domain, just for my .com. I personally learned learned HTML and how to manage servers and all that. So I set up my website that I hand coded. I was setting up manual hosting. So, people would sign up and they had to pay, and it was hard because you had to implement a credit card processor. And back then we still did some checks and stuff. And then I had to set them up on a dedicated server that I went and rented from a company for $150 a month. Maybe it was anywhere between $100 and $150 a month. And then they would have their hosting by then. And so, right off the bat, it was like a $200 or $300 a month, or no, $150 a month investment, and then $75 a year for that domain. So right off the bat, I was, had a lot of skin in the game. Nowadays with reseller hosting, you have a very low barrier to entry, meaning you don't have to go buy a dedicated server, configure it. You don't have to learn HTML, and you don't have to be a server guru. You don't have to be a techie. Really anyone that can follow directions can essentially set up and run a reseller hosting business. You don't even have to know servers, because that's our job at NameHero, is to provide you with the servers and space that's all ready to go. We provide turnkey reseller hosting solutions. So let's get into a little bit of what are the exact costs. So I put in here, the only requirement to start a web hosting business is a reseller account. If you want to automate the business, meaning they can sign up instantly, then you want to use software such as WHMCS. And so I would say for 9 out of 10 people, the answer is yes, I want to automate it. I don't want to do a bunch of manual work. And so I would suggest that you look at the packages with WHMCS. But again, if you say, that's too expensive, then we do offer a package without. And if you already have a license, maybe you have an existing business and so that doesn't quite pertain to you, or if you already have a system, as I mentioned earlier, then the silver might be a good option. And also if you're, looking for a reseller hosting package to do kind of other things than just resale hosting, the silver might be an option as well. But with that said, let's talk about these costs. So here at NameHero, we host hundreds of thousands of websites from across the globe. And every time we get a cancellation request, meaning that someone goes into the interface to cancel their account, and we always ask why. And when people say, I can't afford it, it's too expensive, I don't know whether to laugh or to cry. And I'm really not trying to say it to be mean, but I can't afford it. It's too expensive. I didn't get any customers. I was like, well, I don't know if they're quite being honest with me, because I find that hard to believe that you weren't able to get enough customers and it was too expensive. And so what I'm doing here to set a perspective in this video is break the cost down by day. And so these are our 4 hosting packages. And I'm going to explain this when I head over to our page and do an example sign up. At NameHero, we reward customers for signing up longer. So if the longer you sign up, the more you're going to save. So these prices are based on signing up for 3 years, a 36-month term. And so this essentially means after you pay for that, you do not have another cost into your hosting business until 3 more years. So you have day 1, and then you have 3 years to make that bad boy profitable. And so this is what the cost equals out to per day. Now, of course, if you don't want to sign up for 3 years and you want to pay a little bit more, sure, sign up by the month. You're going to pay more each month, but you're going to have a little bit more flexibility. It's not such an upfront investment. But this I look at this like, buying something on a credit card. If you really want something and you're like, well, I really don't have the cash right now, but I could buy it on a credit card and I could make a couple payments to that each month and then I could afford it. Well, what ends up happening a lot of times, and I'm not saying this is necessarily you, but a lot of times you say, okay, well, I really want that nice couch. I don't have the $600 for that couch, so I'll put it on a credit card and I'll pay $100 for 6 months and be done with it. Well, if you know that there's interest on that credit card, so it's really, you're going to pay a little bit more than $100 a month. And what normally ends up happening is the couch is one thing, and after that, it's like, I really need the matching TV. Oh, what about the coffee table? And so you end up getting all these many payments, and it ends up being really expensive versus just making that investment. Especially with a business, if you're really into the business, you're going to kind of make that leap to kind of put skin in the game. I'm going to sign up for 3 years and I'm dedicated and I'm going to do it. And so I think a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm talking to myself here, they need to hear that if you just say month to month, or, well, you're really serious, you're really not, because, you're just going to do it monthly. Or if you just want to try us out, if you say, hey, Ryan, I don't know if NameHero is any good or not, so I'm going to try you for a month and then maybe sign up longer. I understand that. So there's options out there, but what my example today is based on the 3-year term, because that's the lowest price. If you're going to go with a 12-month term, 2-year term, 6-month term, or a monthly term, whatever, you can kind of alter the prices. But again, this just sets perspective because I'm trying to go from one end to the other end and just show you. So with that said, the most expensive, so when people say I cancel because it's too expensive, is our diamond for $1.18 a day. Platinum, 74 cents a day, gold, 58 cents a day, and silver for 44 cents a day. So let's just talk about the gold for a second, because this is our package with free WHMCS. So if I go to WHMCS and buy it directly, it's $15.95, $98 a month, or around $15-16 a month. So essentially, you're going to get that license, and you have to pay that fee. And so your hosting is really like $2 a month, right? So you're getting this hosting and features for next to nothing. It's really, one could almost say it's complimentary, right? You just need that one expense. All right, so let's talk about this $58 or $58 cents a day that the cancel request says is too expensive. All right, so you want to start a business, and now I'm telling you that you need 58 cents a day to start it. All right, where are you spending 58 cents a day that you can give to your business? Well, a cup of coffee at Starbucks is $5. I like to go through there a lot myself, but yeah, $5. So that's 5 times. That's 5 days that I could be giving to my business. Not more than that. It's 10 days. About 10 days. If we multiply that out, that I could give to my business by just skipping 1 day of Starbucks. We could just throw this into, going out to lunch. Well, if I order a pop, and I'm talking about United States stuff. If you're international, you can relate this to your local area. United States, if I go out and buy a pop with my meal, it's about $2.50 versus just ordering water. So maybe when I go out to eat, I'm gonna use that money towards my business. I'm gonna drink water instead. 58 cents a day. If I really want to, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head of, those fountains in metropolitan areas where people throw quarters in. Literally, you could find probably 3 quarters just walking down there pretty easy every single day. And I'm not really telling you to go do that. I'm just saying 58 cents a day is not that much to invest to start your own business. Nowadays, kids are going to college and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans to be able to get out of college and get a salary for $36,000-$40,000 a year, but they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to do it, and maybe not hundreds of thousands for your average degree, but I think you get the point there. Most people, when they start a business, they're putting an investment in somewhere. I'm telling you right now, from your living room, if you're able to watch this video, even if you're on your phone, it might be a little harder to set up, but you could still set this up on your phone. If you have an iPad, a little bit better. Ideally, I'd like to see you have a laptop or a computer, which you could go to the public library and do. So, that's kind of thing here is all you really need is a computer and to be able to follow some directions, and you can get going for very cheap. I mean, if you want to start a offline business, you have to rent a store, or you have to rent something to conduct the business in, and that's going to be a lot more than 58 cents a day. I keep saying $58 because it's hard to even say 58 cents a day. But again, just trying to set perspective here. If you go searching Google for, making money online opportunities, there's tons of gurus that are going to give you the secret pill, that are going to show you exactly how to make it. But you have to go pay them $400, $500. Gosh, some of them are charging thousands of dollars. It's downright robbery and sick, I think, for their secret sauce. But I'm telling you, I've worked online since 1998. There is no such thing as secret sauce. I promise. I can swear to you, there is no secret sauce. If you're buying one of those guru coaching packages that tells you, hey, for $1,000, I'm going to give you the secret sauce and you'll be rich like me. Here's my Lamborghini. The person that's selling you that, how they got the Lamborghini in the house is because you paid them and you paid for it. So just keep that in mind. And again, just trying to set a little bit of perspective here. So I think if we break it down like this per day, starting a reseller hosting business is cheap. It's cheap. I mean, honestly, $1.18 a day for the highest package, which you can easily start on the gold and upgrade as you go. I think 58 cents a day is just downright cheap. I really do think that's the only other way to put it. All right, so now let's just look at it. Let's look at, okay, if I do make that hefty investment, and I'm saying that with sarcasm, how much revenue do I have to make a return? So in business, we say our ROI, our profit is the expense it took, the revenue we make, we subtract the two, and we have our profit. And we examine that on a metric called ROI, our return on investment. I spent this and I made this, so what's my return look like? For silver, And so each one of these is how many customers the package allows you to set up. The silver, you can have 40, the gold 60, the platinum 80, and the diamond 100. And so again, here's our expense is 44 a day, 58 a day, 74 a day, $1.18 a day. And this is like the maximum amount of customers. Okay, so let's talk about the gold. So the gold, you can have up to 60 customers. And you say, all right, Ryan, well, the gold also has limitations in terms of space. Yes, I get that. But still, at NameHero, you can oversell your space, which means until you actually use all that space, until you have a number of customers using all that space, you can keep selling. So it doesn't mean you have to like block off that space. We offer cloud hosting. You can easily upgrade to the next level. Let's say you get 30 customers and you're reaching your space. We upgrade to the platinum, and then you've got more space. Upgrade to the diamond. Even further than that, let's add another reseller package. With WHMCS, you only need that once. And then you can add as many reseller packages into that as you need to grow. But the first thing you got to do is get the business off the ground. So really, in this video, the next point I'm going to make is don't worry about 40 customers. Don't worry about 60. And Lord, don't worry about 100. You want to worry about your first 5, your first 10. Too often people want to come in, they want to have 100 customers before they even got their first 5. So right now, let's just talk about 5 and 10 customers. I think that's a reasonable and manageable number. Once again, setting perspective. The cost, 44 cents a day, 58 cents a day, 74 cents a day, $1.18 a day. That seems, I think any of us watching this video, that seems pretty freaking cheap and obtainable. And let's talk about 5 or 10 customers. Again, that seems pretty reasonable. Can I get 5 customers? And I'm going to tell you exactly how I got my first 10 customers at NameHero. I'm going to sell you that secret sauce right here on YouTube for free. All right, 5 customers at $10 a month. That would be, if you multiply it out per month, it's $1.60 a day. Your ROI is 263%. Now this is based off the silver, so I just did a revenue example for each package. So let's say I did buy the silver, and because I was too cheap, I didn't want to spend the extra 10 cents a day for the WHMCS. So I went out and got 5 customers. They each gave me $10 a month, and I'm making now $1.60 a day. Again, they don't have to come each day. You don't have to get one new every day. 5 customers in a 31-day month. So 31 days in 1 month to get 5 customers. All you're looking to do. I get it. I know that you have much more aspirations with this. You don't want to make, $1.60 minus 44 cents. That's not even that pop you buy at lunch. That's not even your Starbucks. However, it's a beginning. You have to make a beginning first. And I had to do it myself with NameHero. Before we became a large web host and a name in the industry, I had to start somewhere. And so it may seem impossible right now to even imagine thousands of customers, but don't even think about that. You're going to worry about today. You're going to worry about the next 24 hours. You're focused on, I'm going to make this investment. This is how much revenue I need to cover that investment, and then you can start from there. You have to build your foundation first, folks. When I get those cancellations requests saying it's too expensive or I couldn't get my first customer, it's like, well, why not? It's not that hard, I promise. There is no secret sauce to doing it other than just doing it. So the ROI on 5 customers at $10 a month is 263%. So if you compare that to stock investments or to Bitcoin, to cryptocurrencies, I know that was all the buzz here a couple years ago that you're going to invest $10 in Bitcoin, it's going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Look at the ROI here, and this is not something that's variable. It doesn't mean that if you make this investment that, all you gotta do is get the 5 customers. It's not like it's dynamic, like Bitcoin. Like you put that $10 in Bitcoin, you pray to the Bitcoin God that, it blossoms and you don't lose it. There's different layers of control here because you have the ability to get the customers or not get the customers. It's not, the only way you're not going to get them is if you don't go out and get them. All right, so let's highlight the gold here because I think that's probably, if you're watching this video and you're just getting started, the gold's probably where you're going to begin with. If you're already like an experienced designer, developer, you're going to look at the platinum and diamond. But if you're just the novice entrepreneur just getting started, the gold's going to get you going. So it's going to take you 10 customers at $5 a month for that $1.60 a day. Again, we can say 5 customers at 10 a month or 10 at 5 a month. You can interchange this. But here's the point. It doesn't take that much to generate the ROI, 5 or 10. So you pick. Now, me personally, if I'm going to give advice from a CEO and founder that's running a popular hosting company, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to go out and get your customers, I would go for more quality over quantity. Because later on, if you're going to factor in the support of those customers, managing 5 customers is going to be much easier than managing 10 customers at the same rate. So me personally, I would rather have 10 customers paying a little bit more, or I'm sorry, 5 customers paying more than 10 customers paying less. Because in the long run of support, it's an easier load. You don't get into, once you get to 100 customers, and if they're all at $5 a month versus 10, 50 is easier to support than 10. Or 50 is easier to support than 100. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up here. But that's kind of how I would recommend going after it. And the way you sell this is, I have another video on YouTube I just recently published about, reselling quality reseller hosting. We're not your average reseller host at NameHero. If you want to just get a big allotment of space and bandwidth, I'm telling you right now, go to HostGator, please, because they're going to give you a large amount of space and bandwidth at a relatively cheap cost, probably cheaper than us. And you're not going to get the features though. But if you're wanting to sell 99 cents a month hosting or $1 a month hosting, then go over there because they're going to give you that. We're giving the opportunity to sell something a little bit more. I think even $10 a month is way undervaluing your product. I think as a reseller, if I was to start over tomorrow, if NameHero went into the dust today and I had to wake up tomorrow and restart, I would probably go after customers paying about $100 a month and go for the full service solution, not just the hosting. I would probably go for, I'm going to manage your domains and your email, and I'm going to set up your website. I'm going to, optimize your plugins. I'm going to install you a nice theme. If I'm not a designer, I might say, if I don't want to fool with that, I might say, hey, I'll get everything set up and installed for you. If I am a designer, I'll say, hey, $100 a month, but then, a setup fee of $500 for me to design your site from scratch. I think that's a really obtainable goal if you're looking to really get going here, like within 12 months. It depends on how much time you have or what you're really looking to accomplish. But I would challenge you to go for more quality over quantity, and not try to compete with the discount host out there. If NameHero, I went out there and started NameHero and pretty much have put myself head to head with some of the more discount host competitors out there. Even though I don't consider us a discount host, I still consider us to be very aggressively priced. I consider all of the packages at NameHero to be underpriced. Market-wise, I really feel like, and I know based off feedback I've heard that we could go up a lot higher in our prices, but we are trying to provide our overall mission for the company, an affordable way for everyone to get online, to provide this opportunity. But I'm saying to you is don't try to compete with NameHero. We got started 5 years ago. We have hundreds of thousands of customers on board. Don't try to compete against that. Try to get laser in onto your first couple customers and offer a quality experience. So maybe for the 5 customers, you're charging 20 or 30 a month, and you're doing other things too. And you're providing this premium hosting product, but you're going to say, well, I'll come to your office and help consult you, or I'll spend an hour a month on the phone with you. Anything like that to kind of add that extra value. But going after the quality versus quantity, I think in the long run will save you. But looking at this overall, I think this again sets that perspective that for you just to break even on your investment, it doesn't take much. It takes 10 customers, 5 customers at 10 a day. I would say this first one here is where you kind of need to, where I would suggest that you focus, either 5 at 10 or 5 at 20. 5 at 20 would be $323 a day. Based on the platinum at 74 cents a day, that's 336% ROI. That's the highest ROI. And again, if you're going to go with the gold and go with this model here, say the gold 60 at 58 cents a day investment, and then you go for 5 customers at 20, your ROI is over 400% at that point. That means you're making a lot more than you're spending, and it's, not all that hard to think of 5 customers. Again, right now, get out of your head 100 customers, get out of your head 20 customers. Focus on the first 5, the first 10, and then we'll talk about the more later on. That brings me to the next slide. First 5 to 10 customers. When I first started NameHero, I did not shoot for the 100,000 plus websites we host today. I thought about it, I dreamed about it, I envisioned it, but that seemed unattainable. Here I was starting NameHero day one, I had nothing on there. So it's like, okay, well, if I look at HostGator, if I look at A2 Hosting, if I look at InMotion, these guys have been around for a decade plus. How am I ever going to do that? Well, that's kind of deflating. It gives you hope at first, like, oh man, that'd be great. But then if you look at, well, just me starting the business, how can I get there? It seems like an impossible jump. So, you want to focus first on your first 10, your first 5, first 10. So that's what I did is, okay, here's NameHero, here's what I offer, and I need my first 10 customers. After 10, and I can worry about more later, but I can't get started till I'm at least breaking even, because if I'm making an investment, even if it is 58 cents a day, 74 cents a day, $1 a day, it still is an investment. It's a cost. So I want to at least break that even, and then once I break that even, it takes the heat off. Okay, so after I got my first 10, then I focused on my next 10. So I can't get 100 customers if I don't even have 5, and I don't even have 10. I can't even think about it. So right now, just laser your focus if you're wanting to get started, getting your hosting account set up and getting your first 10. After you get your next 10, worry about the next 10 after that. At NameHero, once I reached 100 customers, the jump to 200 wasn't that hard. People said that. I read that, and I experienced that, and I knew it. That, once I got 100, it seemed like forever to get that first 100, but I just kept focusing. 10. Okay, I need 10 now. How do I get 10 more? I got 10 more. I just kept those little jumps, and it seemed like, well, that 100 seems high, but really it was 10 times 10. If we got 10 customers a day in 10 days, I'd have it then. But if you've ever ran a business before, it doesn't work that way. You're not going to get 10 customers a day in your first 10 days. It doesn't work that way. You've got to get out there. But again, you don't want to focus on these unobtainable goals, because then you get demotivated, you can get depressed, all sorts of things could happen. Focus on just 10 at a time. 10 at a time. You've got today, I've got 24 hours. Okay, what do I need to do in the next 24 hours? Well, I'm going to probably sleep for 6 of them. If you don't sleep a lot, maybe 5, or maybe you sleep for 8. That doesn't matter. You need to get sleep. Okay, so that's taken away 18. Let's say I have 18 hours left. All right, well, if I go to a job, that's going to take 8 hours. So now I've got 10 hours. Okay, so I'm going to spend some time with my family and stuff. So out of that 10 hours, let's say I take 6. So then I've got 4 left over. So in that 4 hours, you've got to focus on getting a customer. You have 4 hours to get a customer. I know without a doubt, if I went out and for 4 hours to find one person, and I'm talking about just in a day, maybe you only have an hour a day, but if you focus an hour a day for 7 days, it's 7 hours. And if you can't get one customer or 2 customers in 7 hours, then I don't know what to tell you, because 7 hours, if you go out to do anything for 7 hours, you're going to do it. You're going to find it if you're going out and really doing it. So again, setting perspective, regardless how busy you are in your schedule, 30 minutes in one day, an hour in a day, spend that time to go out. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I got my first 5 to 10 in the next slide. So after I did get my first 100, the jump to 200 wasn't that bad. I didn't have to work near as hard to get my first 100 as I did the next 100, because these 100 started to talk. Hey, NameHero is providing pretty good services. So, and it started just to come on. And I still went out and was, looking for customers. But what I found is I started to figure out what worked for me, and it was easier, so going out and getting 2 or 3 a day didn't become too hard. And then the jump to 200 was not as bad. And then before I knew it, 500 came, and then before long, 1,000 came, and then it just started to snowball, meaning that I didn't have to go out really and look. After 1,000, they just started to come in. And then it was a whole nother growth period, because of course, hiring other people and getting some help and all that. But my big point here is, you have to crawl before you could walk. You had to walk before you could run. So, I look at my kids, okay? I got a 2.5-year-old right now. He's running. He can run so freaking fast. He runs faster than me, especially if you tell him there's a snack or fruit snack at the other end of the kitchen. But before he could do that, he had to crawl. I also have a 4-month-old. He can't crawl right now. So literally, if moving from room to room, I have to carry him, or mom has to carry him, or I have to put him in a stroller and push him. He can't crawl. So, before he can even think about running as fast as my 2.5-year-old, he has to crawl. My 2.5-year-old, it took him a year before he could walk. So it was 12 months before he could even walk. So look at your business like that. Okay, the first year of a business is tough. I'd say the first 6 months to 12 months is the toughest, because you're new. You don't know what to do. You can't even walk yet. You have to learn how to crawl. So that first 6 months is trying to figure out how to crawl, and then 6 months to a year, you're trying to figure out how to walk. And then once you start to walk, Well, my 2.5-year-old now, like I said, he can run so fast, but it started to snowball. It took him some time, but once he got the hang of it, now he can go. So, the point of this slide is, that you have to start somewhere. You have to start a foundation. Once the foundation starts, it starts to come much easier. I think too often people come on and they have unrealistic expectations. I want to leave my day job. I want a new jet. I want a new Mercedes. I want a new car, or I want a new house, or I want an apartment, or I want a vacation, or I want a watch, or, they have these expectations, things they really want, but it's not going to be overnight. And I think that's why the gurus and stuff online, if you, again, type in make money online, start clicking down the list. I think that's why they're so successful at selling, thousands of dollars of coaching packages and stuff to people, is because they film their video and do their marketing behind their, big houses and their flashy cars, their private jets. They're saying, if you just sign up with me, I'm going to tell you, baby, how I got this. How I got this house. You can have it too. And I'm going to tell you, you just have to sign up. But if you've ever bought into one of those things, I'm sure you've realized that the only thing that they offered, the only thing I did was pay for a piece of that jet, and I paid for a piece of that house. There's really, I promise, there's not that much secret sauce out there. It's just all about doing and taking action. And that's why I try to put all this stuff on YouTube. Try to get it out there so you can learn from it, and let you know there are some legitimate opportunities out there. In 2019, do we head towards 2020? Nowadays, wherever you are in the world, not just talking to United States or North American people, internationally, these opportunities are all there. It's just all about getting up and doing it. All right, let's talk about the next slide. How did I get my first 10 customers? Now, again, I'm speaking of NameHero. I consider us a pretty popular brand nowadays. We're fairly well known. We have thousands of customers. We have a good bit of employees on staff here. But how did I get my first 10? How did Ryan get his first 10, before NameHero was NameHero? NameHero, you just type it in Google and it would say a spelling error. It's saying that you're not right. So how did I get my first 10? All right, well, my dad, he had a website, because he still has a website. He's got a small business. He has a website. He was at HostGator. Hey, Dad, I'm starting NameHero. It's a hosting business. Here's what I offer. Here's what you're getting at HostGator. Here's what I can offer you. And if you search YouTube, there's plenty of comparisons, NameHero versus HostGator. Use that to your advantage if that pertains to your situation. Of course, my dad's like, heck yeah, I'd rather pay you than someone else. I'd be glad to sign up. $5.95 a month. To this day, 5 years after starting NameHero, he still pays it every single month. So $5.95 a month. My brother happens to be my identical twin. He ran a really popular website to where he bought a dedicated VPS. It might have been a dedicated server. Either way, it was still a dedicated cloud instance. And so he paid more than $5.95 a month, a lot more. But again, my cost was much more than that too. But still, he had a website. He signed up. He was my first. I have a cousin. He has had a startup to where he had a WordPress blog and he was just getting off the ground. And, I think he did have hosting somewhere else, and I'm not sure what brand it was at. But, I told him, hey, man, I heard you got a startup and I see you've got a WordPress blog. I'm starting this company. Would you like to sign up with me? Would that work with you? Here's what we offer. And he said, absolutely. I'd love to. And his price, again, was about $5.95, $10 a month, right around there. My uncle, happened to be his father, he's a real estate agent. And he came out, I've got plenty of domains and websites out there for my real estate company. And he's really got his online stuff together. He's got just an amazing company set up. And he was happy to send some business. And not only that, he started registering all his domains with us. I think he was registering at GoDaddy. And I was like, man, GoDaddy's a little more expensive. I'd love to register with you. So he started transferring domains and registering new domains. And so it started coming. 4 local friends. So, I'm from Kansas. I live in Kansas City, and I've got some local friends around here that, I've known over the years, and they had websites or had a capacity online, and they just needed the hosting. I said, hey, guys, here's what I'm doing. Would you like to come, sign up with us? And, they did. And so that was my first 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8. So it was 8. And all it took was a phone call and an explanation of my services, for the first 8. It wasn't that much. I did not have to create HostGator. I did not have to create NameHero. I didn't have to create what it is today. I just had to have the service online. It really didn't matter what it looked like. Here's what I had and what I was going to offer. I just had to have my site online so they could all go input their domain and sign up for their package, select their package and get it set up. And then they signed up, so that's all it really took. It wasn't a whole lot. I just called them up, and here's an explanation. Now, after the first 8, I had to dive a little deeper because that's really off the top of my head all I could get. And, since then, of course, I dove even deeper to other relatives and stuff. But that was just like right off the top of my head. I knew my dad, my brother, my cousin, my uncle, and I had 4 friends that had a site. So you might say, hey, Ryan, well, I don't know anyone that does websites. My mom and dad, my friend, my cousin, my partner, whatever, none of them do it. Let's say, well, think harder. Think harder. Who else? Who else around you does? And I'll get to that more in a second. But let's talk about as I had to go a little bit deeper. So after that, I dove deeper into acquaintances and former coworkers that I knew had websites. So I've worked online for a long time. So NameHero started 5 years ago. I've been working online for 20 plus years. So obviously I had more acquaintances and coworkers that's worked with me over the years, employees, business partners and stuff that I knew. So that was a little bit of an advantage. I was able to, go to them. And when I went to them, it had to be a little bit more, professional. I couldn't just send them to my brand new website. I at least had to have my logo and, my services on there, to kind of show them what I had. But I formed a Facebook message to them. Facebook's great to use for that because Facebook has an About Us section on each profile. And if they have a website in it, then right there, that they need hosting. And you can search the Who Is directory. You can use NameHero.com and find that on our domains page and see who else is hosting them to kind of draw a comparison for them, which is what I did. Some of them knew me for a while and like, hey, Ryan, I trust you. We had a good relationship before. Let's do this. But I did find calling some of those people, me personally, I found it's just a little awkward, so I just messaged them on Facebook. And you might find the same. And so if you don't have any of the family like I had, start looking at acquaintances on Facebook. I would say most everyone watches has Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter. Look at your social media network. Social media is a huge advantage. I started in 98. We didn't have any of that. So I really had to dive deep. In 98 too, my dad didn't have a site, my brother didn't have a site, they didn't hear of the internet really. It was just getting started. So I had to really dive deep back then. Nowadays, it's not that hard to go out and find your first 5 to 10 customers. Using Facebook, that's really all you need for your marketing is if you already have a profile. If you don't, you probably should just go ahead and get one. Or LinkedIn, Twitter, gosh, there's a TikTok now. There's tons of social media outlets, Snapchat. It's likely anyone out here watching this has at least one of those. If you don't, then I don't know what to tell you to get one because, these social media outlets are perfect. They're fantastic for generating your early on business or even long-term business. But, especially people and you say, well, Ryan, what about your videos about picking my niche and my niche, however you say it, my niche? Well, okay, I get it. You do want to find a niche and I'm going to help you determine that. But the first thing we're trying to do here is get your first 10 customers. We're trying to make sure what you're spending is offset by what you're making. That way you're not sitting up worrying about it or you're not stressed over that investment. Then because it just takes the heat off because I don't have to, I know what I'm bringing in is more than I'm paying. So now I can focus on growing my business other than covering that cost, even though that cost is under $1 a day. So once I had my first 10, I started going to Facebook groups, online forums, and I didn't spend anything on marketing. So this is a common thing that we get a lot here at NameHero. Our feedback I get from our training is, hey, Ryan, I want to start Google AdWords because I just set up my reseller hosting site. It's all done. I've perfected it. Now I want to go get on AdWords and I want to bid on web hosting, reseller hosting, VPS, whatnot, and I want to start generating tons of customers. Please don't go do that. That's the biggest mistake you can make. If you go bid on web hosting on Google AdWords, you're going to pay like $50 a click. I promise you. Go do it. Go set it up. It's so expensive. I don't even have a campaign. NameHero on web hosting on AdWords. It's too expensive. EIG, GoDaddy, those guys already have that. They've got it covered. They've got billions of dollars behind them. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to pay $50 a click, and that doesn't mean a customer. So it's going to take 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 clicks before they get a customer. So the amount of investment to get it to a customer is so big, you're going to find yourself out of business. Unless you're sitting on $1 billion, a couple $1 million you don't care to blow, I just don't recommend doing that. Get on social media. That's where I got my first 10 at NameHero. It's first, people close to me. Then get on social media and those acquaintances. I think I might even use Facebook to message my cousin and uncle. I don't know, and that might not even have been a phone call. Point being is, get to where you can connect with people you already know and get those first 5, 10 customers. And this is even before trying to figure out exactly what your niche is, because you might not have it yet. I get that a lot too at NameHero. Well, my niche is everyone that wants a website. And it's like, oh boy, you're going to really put yourself at a disadvantage. But if you just want to get some customers, you get to the people close to you. That's the easiest way to get started. Facebook groups, there's groups out there, different groups that have to deal with online stuff. Now, I don't mean go in there and start spamming them. Don't go into Advanced WordPress on Facebook, which is a very popular Facebook group, and say, hey, I got a hosting service at, whateverhosting.com. Please come sign up. It makes you look desperate. It's spamming, and they're going to delete you and they're going to ban you. If you find a group that does allow that, because they are out there, you're not going to get any customers. I promise. Unless you maybe mark it down to 99 cents for the year, I promise people have already tried that. They've tried it so much that people now don't go sign up for that stuff. They don't sign up for spam. They don't sign up for companies that look desperate. They just don't. You want to be helpful. So if you go to Facebook groups, or online forums aren't near as popular as they used to be, but they're still out there. Go add value. Instead of trying to sell someone, if they have you're looking for someone. Most people post on groups or forums because they have a question or a problem. Try to help them solve that. If you do, at that point, then you can, hey, well, I helped you solve this. I just let you know I'm the owner of this business here. Then that's how I started NameHero. Is I got on some of the forums out there that have to deal with online stuff, helped them solve a problem, and I might even have NameHero in my username. I don't really recall. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'll research that though and let you know for sure. And I'll get some course content out there too, where I show some more specific examples. But I just got myself out there and was helpful to the people, and eventually started signing up. You might not close your first one, okay? You might help someone, say, well, Ryan, I went and I helped them. I went and don't spend too much time, don't spend 8 hours helping one person, because there's many more people out there. Try to keep your reply brief, but very helpful, but keep doing that over. And the purpose of this is going out there and reaching out more. So on forums, I used to set a reminder on my phone to post like 10 or 20 forum/Facebook group postings a day to where I could be helpful. The thought wasn't even to sell them, it's just go answer 5 or 10 questions out there on the internet. Facebook groups, online forums, Quora. There's sites out there. It used to be Yahoo Answers, which is I think now Quora, whatnot. Go try to answer 10 questions a day, 20 questions a day. I think eventually I went into high socket mode and went to 100 or whatnot, but that was crazy. Don't even focus on that much. Just go out and focus on 5 or 10 questions, answering them every single day, and that business will start to come. I can promise you it worked for us here at NameHero. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it did not work. So I'm telling you that works. All right, so let's talk about some additional costs now to consider. These are things that you might not consider right off the bat, and so I'm going to mention them. One, registering your own business. So obviously, if you're going to be running a company, you need to have your own business, your own company. So that's going to take some costs, because this most of the time is set up by a lawyer or an accountant. If you have a local lawyer or an accountant, then give them a call. A lot of them offer free consultations. So, that might be worth, say, calling up getting on Google and searching lawyers in whatever area you're in, saying, hey, business lawyers or business accountants, saying, hey, I'm thinking about starting a business. Do you offer free consultations? And if they say no, and say, okay, well, how much is your consultation? If they tell you $10, $50, probably $50, $100 would be your average. I know some do free consultations though to generate business. So, keep calling till you find one that says I'll do it for free. Or if they say it's $50 or $100, then I'm telling you that's where your first profit's going to go. So Ryan, before I register my business, start my business, yes, get those first 5 to 10 customers. So these additional costs, consider these after you get your first 10. At least break even on your hosting before you go off and register and get all this stuff going. Yes, registering your business is important. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant, so I guess I can't I guess I'm not supposed to tell you, get start a business without registering your business. But, if you provide just a service to your friends and family, you don't have to go get all formal and to go spend $500, $300 to register your LLC or your incorporation. At least get a MVP up. And so let's just talk about a couple more of these and I'll expand on that. If offering domains, you might need to fund your domain reseller account. So at NameHero, all of our reseller hosting packages come with a free domain reseller account. And so Enom is one of the bigger ones we use. Enom, if you go to them directly, if you want a reseller account with them, you have to pay them just to have the account. At NameHero, that's complimentary. We will set you up one. It's complimentary free. There's plenty of videos on how to do that. You can actually do it once you install WHMCS. So you can do it inside of there. But once that's created, you do have to fund that account. Because if a customer registers or transfers a domain, you still have to pay on your end for that. We get some people at NameHero confuse that. They think, well, the free domain reseller account means I can register unlimited domains for free. I only wish it worked like that. If it did, gosh, I'd probably retired a long time ago. It doesn't work like that. You have to pay fees as the registrar, but being a domain reseller, you do get a discount. So if you get your domain reseller account set up, you're going to pay less than the average consumer out there registering a domain. So you mark your price up accordingly with it, so you make a profit, but you still have to pay your fees. But still, if you're just getting started, don't even worry about registering domains and transferring domains yet. 5 to 10 customers. I'm telling you to do that first. Break even what you've already spent before you go spend more. So domains that. Is it a great upsell? Yes. Is it a convenience? Absolutely. But until you are starting to break even and get it going, don't even worry about that extra deposit yet. It's something to consider, but after you get your business set up, your company's making a profit, then go for funding that account. A premium website design and template. So WHMCS includes a beautiful, well-done, mobile-optimized template that's ready to go for free. So and I'm going to show you how to install WHMCS just as soon as we conclude this talk here, and show you the template in real time. That's perfectly fine to start your business. That's people get way too caught up into that. Having it out there and active and working is more important than it being the most beautiful website out there. I've made the mistake of that before. I've wanted everything to be just looking like, HostGator, or looking like NameHero, or looking like InMotion Hosting day one. Guys, gals, you don't have to do that day one. First 5 to 10 customers. My uncle, my brother, my friends, they didn't care. They were going off my word and our relationship. And, especially in the hosting industry, if you get some people that have really been burned, they're going to be glad to see they know someone that they can talk to. Because nowadays in the hosting industry, it's kind of hard to get support at some places. That's why we started NameHero, is to start a company that would provide support, because some companies it's hard. So, use that stuff to your selling advantage. Don't worry about looking all pretty and fancy. You just want to get off the ground. You want to get started. Technical support. So as you grow to 100 or 200 customers, you're going to probably need some help to do support. At NameHero, we are on the back end to help you. If someone asks you a question you don't know, one, I say Google it, because you can find almost anything on Google. If I go to our tickets right now, there's probably 300 of them up here on this other screen. Almost every one of those I could Google and find, but people are still asking because they didn't Google it, and that's fine. Don't feel bad if you're doing that. If maybe you did Google it and you just don't find it or whatnot. But I'm saying, you as a reseller, most of the questions your customers ask you can Google, and you can also Google NameHero. Ask the question in Google and put at the end NameHero. And I've tried to film videos and tutorials and material on every single question that I see, because I know if it's asked once, it's going to be asked again, especially for issues I see come up time and time again, is to getting training out to show you how to solve them. So, Google it with NameHero. Those are your first two things. And the other thing is, our support is here to help you. So I didn't mean to kind of poke fun at the 300 tickets I'm looking at right now. I'm saying that, if you do have an issue that you can't find, then don't hesitate. Ask, give us a call, live chat, ticket, and then we will help you. But you still have to relay that information to your customer. Right now, we do not provide end customer support, meaning that, your customers are your customers. It's your business. So you're going to support them. We will support you as the reseller, but it's up to you to provide them that support. Our packages would be a lot more expensive if we provided that support for you, kind of white labeled. That'd be much more expensive. I'm not saying, though, a little teaser, that we don't have a product coming out that's going to do just that, but it's not out yet. It is going to be a little bit more expensive. So just keep that in mind too. But now, as you do get to 100 customers, you're going to find you get to a point, as I found at NameHero, that you can't single-handedly answer them, just you. Because I found that at NameHero is, I could not physically answer all the tickets and phone calls and chats that came in, so I had to start hiring, people to help. So that's something to consider. But don't go hire a support team until you have your first 5 customers, until you have your first 100 customers. Don't worry about it early on. I'm just saying consider it, but don't go getting into all that right now. You don't need this today. Upgrading your WHMCS license. So the license that comes with your account allows for 250 customers, and it includes a powered by WHMCS link. It means at the bottom it just says powered by WHMCS. You can upgrade that to get rid of that powered by link, and that's really cheap. I think that's $10 a month or $5 a month, somewhere around there. We have a discount. So for all our customers, you get the complimentary license, but if you want to remove that link, I really think it's $5 a month to get rid of it. So you can do that if you want, but again, if you're just getting started up and you're one of those that's going to send me the cancel request in 6 months from now, it says it was too expensive and you couldn't get any customers, don't upgrade the license. Just get the site online and get your customers. You think my dad, my brother, my cousin, my uncle, my friends, they didn't care if it said powered by whatever. We're glad that someone was offering hosting that they knew. Same with those associates, they didn't really care. So don't get too hung up on this stuff. People get so hung up on this stuff, they don't ever start the business. I'm saying consider it, don't worry about it. You need to be focused on your MVP. And I copied this definition from like Wikipedia or somewhere. I should have put credit, sorry. But a minimal viable product is what you need to focus on. And it's a development technique in which a new product or website is developed with sufficient resources to satisfy early adopters. The final complete set of features is only designed and developed after considering feedback from its initial users. That's what we did at NameHero. Get it online, get it launched. After you start getting your feedback, then you can perfect your logo, your website design, your knowledge base, your videos. You can go back and do all that. Get money going in first. Cover that $1 a day. I'm just gonna call it $1 a day. Cover that $1 a day expense by making $2 a day, and then start getting feedback. And then your customers will tell you what you need to do. You'll get feedback. They have this question on setting up this, or they have this question on accessing cPanel, or they have this question on uploading their website. They'll tell you all you need to know. Even if your niche, if you don't know your niche yet, start with people listen to their feedback, start getting out there and solving problems that answers to, and you'll start to get that feedback to really tell you where you should focus your business. And that's exactly what I did at NameHero. If you look at our site and what it is today, it was not what it is today day one. Day one, how to get it off the ground, how to get it going, could not get hung up on all this stuff. How to get it out and get it going. This is why people fail. Let's talk about it. The biggest mistakes that I have seen, and this is coming from thousands of customers now from across the globe, people have unrealistic expectations. They want to be the fastest runner out there before they even learn to crawl. They want to have 100 customers before they even have 5, before they even have 1. They want to have 100. They have these expectations that I started this business and tomorrow I'm going to go buy the new Mercedes-Benz I've always wanted, or I'm going to go take the dream vacation, or even if that's not your expectation, I just want to quit my day job, or if I just want an extra $100 a month to help cover whatever expense. People are so focused on that they can't even clear the fog to get one customer. Remember, you're spending $1 a day, you're trying to make $2 a day. It's not much at all. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about covering the expense. Get profit out of your mind right now. Get revenue out of your mind. Let's just say you're going to spend $1 a day and you want to make $2 a day. Because until you do that, you can't make thousands of dollars. You can't make $100. You've got to start somewhere. Every one of us that have started a business had to start somewhere. At NameHero, I think my first month in business, I might have made $300. I'm going to find that. I'm going to dig that report up and I'm going to put it on YouTube because I want to show people to where you are humbled, because that's how it starts. No one got to where they are today overnight. if you get on Google, type in make money online, the gurus are going to tell you, you can have this mansion I have, you can have this car I have, if you buy my secret system. But basically what they're saying is, if you buy my system, you're going to pay for a piece of my house. And the more of you that pay for it, the bigger the house it's going to get. And yeah, some people might succeed in those type of programs, but they're really spending way more than they need to spend. So I guess my biggest thing is, you got to start somewhere. Start with my first 5 to 10 customers before you even start thinking about making tons of money or whatnot, because money is a poor indicator. I'm telling you, so you make $100 profit in a day, you're going to want 200. If you make 200 in a day, you're going to want 300. If you want 1,000 profit in a day and you make 1,000, you're going to want 2,000. I've been in that cycle for 20 years. Profit has always been my poorest motivator, because as soon as I hit what I think I want or what I think I need, I always want more. It does not matter. I promise. I've tried this in 8 different businesses I've been part of. If I'm focused solely on profit and revenue, I always come up short. So at NameHero, instead of focusing on profits, we focus on service. Servicing our customers, providing a good product and saying, okay, the money's the money, whatever it is. Obviously we have to be profitable. But we're going to, instead of me personally, instead of just waking up every day saying, I want to make this because I want that, and so now I want to focus on making the hosting industry a better place so people have a better experience. I find that much more fulfilling. And again, I'm getting into a little bit far off track there, but I think I hope you get my point there, that don't focus on the numbers right now. Don't focus on wanting to go boast that you've got your own business and you're making all this money. Focus on those first 5 to 10 customers. You're apprehensive about getting started, hence waste time researching and reading versus doing. This goes into something called paralysis by analysis. It means you're paralyzed to do anything because you're trying to overanalyze it. You're like trying to figure out that formula, like a scientist trying to, make a tincture or a potion. You're like trying to put a little this and a little that so you'll have this. It doesn't really work like that in business. I see way too many people trying to research and read versus just doing it. And we've got tons of information. And people have gotten stuck in reading and watching my material. And if that's you, then I'm telling you that yes, the material's got good stuff in it. We've put it out there to be helpful, but don't get so consumed in that you forget to go do your business. If you're watching this video now and you don't have 5 or 10 customers, I'm saying turn off everything else. Turn off everything else until you get your first 5 to 10 customers. Then you can come back and read this stuff, and you can develop the business more. Don't focus so much on researching and analyzing and trying to get that tincture right versus just getting it. Because what I see happen is people, they're all motivated at first. Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my business going, and I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then they see NameHero, HostGator success, and like, yes, I'm going to have that. But then they're like, ooh, well, I need this, or I need that, or my email's got to work this way, or and they waste too much time. And so what happens is after a couple of weeks, they're exhausted. They're too exhausted from research and reading, and they end up just quitting. And they send me the cancel request. It was too expensive. I couldn't get any customers. Bye. So don't let that be you. Just get out and do it. Just do it. You don't have to be perfect. Don't worry about the most professional looking site. Just get it out. And that's my last point here, is you want everything perfect and professional looking before you start pushing your product. I can relate to that. By nature, I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to put out something that's not pristine. But at the same time, when I started NameHero, I quit my other businesses. I didn't have a job, so I left my other companies to start NameHero. So I had to start from the ground up. I didn't have a choice. I couldn't wait 6 months. I didn't have a month to wait. I had to go. I had to start getting customers. So I literally, first version of NameHero, I'm pecking away on the computer, and I go back and look at. I'd screenshotted all the stuff, but I go and look at it and like, man, that looked pretty bad, but it worked. It did not look perfect. There was even some typos and stuff. And every once in a while, I'll still find one. But it wasn't what it is today, but it evolved over time. And I looking back now, how we look today, I feel like looks better than last year. How we looked last year looks better than the year before. But it kind of grows, right? As business has grown, then there's more time to go back and perfect things and hire experienced developers and have help. But at first, you just want to get it out there. And that goes back to our minimal viable product. As long as it works and I can collect feedback, let's focus on that versus everything being the biggest and best. Some of our resellers have developed some of the best, most professional looking hosting companies I've ever seen. I mean, some of them I really want to buy them, and I see them quit because they spend all their time doing that versus doing, and they're exhausted. It's not making any money. It's a loss. It's a loss of time and money. So just get out there and do it. So my advice, go get your first 5 customers within 24 to 48 hours after signing up of your reseller account. Build from there. That's where I'm going to end this portion. Now I'm going to continue on in this video and show you how to get your website up, how to get your MVP up so it's working. That's what we're going to do in the last part of this video, is just show you how to get the site up so it's working, and so you can go get your first 5 customers. So within you say 24 hours, Ryan, whoa, that's pretty early. Now I'm telling you, in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you how quick it is to get the site up, to get the business online, and then so you can go get your first 5 customers. Don't go do anything else until you get that. 24 to 48 hours. Go get them. The first 48 hours, go out and focus on that. People people close to you. And I'll expand on it a little bit more here in this next section. So just stand by here and I'll resume this and we'll get back to filming. All right, so by this point, you should have a pretty good idea of what traditional reseller hosting is and some of the tips and suggestions I gave about the cost involved and about how much you need to make. And at this point, you should have decided if it's for you or not, if you want to continue on this endeavor together. This is our main page at NameHero.com, and I'm going to guide you through a setup and show you how to set up just your MVP, your initial site. So right here on our main page, we feature our basic web hosting. And so this essentially is the same product that you're going to be offering your customers. And of course, you can set your own prices, you can set your own features. We kind of give you everything, and then you decide, how much a customer pays and what exactly they get. If you want to give them all the same features as us, that's great. You can. If you want to kind of limit it, then you can as well. If I click View Plans, it's going to take me down here, and I can see all the products we offer here at NameHero. So with our traditional reseller hosting, this package here, you're going to be able to sell your customers web hosting. Now we get questions, can I resell VPS hosting, and can I resell your cloud dedicated servers, as well as can I resell reseller hosting? Well, these extra 3 products are there's a little bit more involved to reselling them. We do have a module coming out very soon that will allow you to resell these other products. But for this specific video and tutorial, we're talking about reselling just web hosting. So, if you're just getting started reselling, then I recommend, just get started with one product. Again, another mistake that resellers make is they want to offer just everything before getting their first 5 to 10 customers. So if you're following along, that's what I suggest. And, as you build your business, and you can expand out to these other items. But, again, when you're selling a little bit higher pricing hosting packages, it takes a little bit more to get more customers. So why not start off with one area and then kind of branch the next. So our reseller hosting packages are here. So I'm just going to click Compare Plans so we can kind of go over the packages that we've highlighted thus far. So here are the 4R, and you can see just some features here that we offer at NameHero that's different. So if you're comparing NameHero to other hosts, that's great. Absolutely. If you're shopping for a car, you don't just go to the first dealership you go to and get a car. Most people don't. Some do if you know exactly what you want. But most people shop around. So if you do, I want you to really pay close attention to our features, because that's what really sets NameHero aside from the others, is we have free light speed web server. This is up to 20 times faster than traditional Apache web server or other web servers out there. So if you're going to compare NameHero, please ask whoever you're comparing, just ask what web server they use. And if they don't say Lightspeed, say, well, how much is Lightspeed? Or do you offer it at all? Or is it an upsell? Or, whatnot. Just so you can get a fair comparison. The WHMCS license, we said it's select packages, is free. The free and automatic SSL. So websites nowadays, SSL is required. And so if you don't know what SSL is, if I hover over here, well, it's not going to show it since I'm in full screen. But if you visit a site without an SSL certificate, a secure certificate, Chrome, the most popular browser, shows that it's not secure, like a not safe site. And of course, your visitors, your customers, they're going to want that. Up until recently, most companies were selling this as an add-on, an upsell. I know GoDaddy, for one, they still upsell it. So if you go to GoDaddy, you don't get free SSL, you still have to pay. So these are just 3 features I'm telling you that you should check out. If you're shopping NameHero around, make sure you ask other hosts that they have similar features, just so you get an accurate comparison. Okay, so these are all white labeled. meaning that people never see NameHero. NameHero is not shown anywhere. Your customers will never see us. You operate as your own independent brand. All right, so let's go down to the packages. Silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. So we've kind of highlighted our pricing. Now, right now, these prices are based on our sale of 45% off. This is currently our fall sale going on. So our prices go up and down, throughout the year depending on what sale we have. So when you watch this video, the sale may be different. So I cannot, unfortunately, guarantee that this is going to be the same when you watch this video. It might be a different sale. It might be a better price. It might be a higher price. I don't know. So if you're watching this and you have this special, then great. If not, we'll have something. But that's just kind of how it goes. There's sales at different times of the year. Okay, so I mentioned the Lightspeed web server. Let me just highlight the other features we have because, again, it is important if you're going to shop us around. And again, I encourage that, okay? SSD storage. All of our packages are on solid-state drives protected by RAID 10. So this is faster than traditional hard drives. And in every video I compare this. I always have one beside me. Traditional SATA hard drive, SSD drive. They're smaller, there's no moving pieces, they don't fill as much, and they're a lot faster. So not only with the Lightspeed web server do you gain speed, your customers are going to gain speed, the same with the solid state drive. It's important for me to mention all this because these are features that you really want to highlight to your customers because this is something that's going to set us and your reselling apart from, if they're hosting at HostGator, or if they're hosting at Bluehost or whatnot. I know some of the more popular hosts are starting to add solid state drives, but a lot of them charge a premium for it. So this is standard at NameHero. So it comes with, it's included in your package. These are also protected by RAID 10. So if I highlight over that, RAID 10. So RAID 10 is a software that basically mirrors this. So essentially in each of our servers, there's one SSD drive and then there's another drive and they mirror each other. And the RAID 10 software is kind of what oversees that. And so in case a drive would fail, which again, SSDs are not known to fail near as much as SATA hard drives, then your data is still protected. It provides a high level of reliability and redundancy. So that's another question to ask, if you're comparing, do you guys have RAID, a RAID controller, RAID 10, RAID 1, just ask those questions because again, this is stuff that you can feature to your customers. And a lot of resellers out there don't have these kind of premium features is what I call them. So it gives you a huge advantage. Bandwidth. So we have 500, 800, 1,000, and 2,000 a month. Now, in 2019, very rarely do we see people go over these bandwidth limits. So I personally, I wouldn't even worry about it. If you start to encroach, you can always upgrade, but very rarely do we have those instances anymore. So I don't even know why we still show them other than it's just kind of the thing to do. You have to have some type of limit because if you did get a customer that had a video sharing site and was using all that resources, then of course that could, take away from the performance of your package. So I guess, there still is a reason for it, but most of the time people don't come near that. All right, so we mentioned the SSL. It's free and unlimited and automatic. So, your sites, your customers, when they sign up, the SSL certificate's already going to generate and install on their site. There's no action they have to do. Again, that's another huge selling point. More hosts are starting to include it free, but still not all. I mean, GoDaddy, they're probably the largest out there. They're publicly traded. They have billions of dollars in revenue. So it's likely if you're bringing customers in, you might have some that are currently at GoDaddy. So there's a big selling point right there. Web Host Manager Control Panel. This allows you to set up and manage all the accounts. It plugs into WHMCS, so you have WHMCS kind of automates it. WHM is kind of the back end to WHMCS, so WHMCS kind of ties into it. Of course, the number of client accounts you can have, we covered this in our video earlier, 40, 60, 80, 100. And, I really feel that you could probably still call this unlimited because you're going to run out of disk before you start to get in this limit. And also, if you hover over this I, you can see each account can host unlimited domains. So this means like 60 clients account is 60 different customers. If you have one customer that has 100 websites, they essentially could host them all. Now, I probably wouldn't recommend putting that many in there, but still there's no limits on how many they can have in their account. but you can limit how many they can have. So, if you want to have a package on your site for, say, one website, this customer can have one website and you can charge a certain rate. And then you can have another package that says you can host 6 websites and then you charge a higher rate. Then you could say, well, unlimited websites is another rate. So that gives you different areas to price your packages to kind of give your customers an incentive to pay a little bit more. So that's another big thing. And if you can compare other web hosts out there, or if you even look at our packages at NameHero, you can see that's one way we kind of differentiate between the packages is the number of websites you can host. So just because you have 40 or 60 or 80 or 100 client accounts, that doesn't mean that that's all the websites you can host. You can host unlimited inside of each account. All right, so the free WHMCS is these 3, and we have our reseller toolkit. And these are other big selling points, so I'm going to briefly highlight these. The Auto SSL, one-click WordPress install, staging, and updates. So your customers, 99% of our customers use WordPress in some capacity or another. And so that's going to be the same with you if you're reselling hosting. They don't have to install WordPress manually anymore. Back in the old days, you had to go to wordpress.org and download it and upload it and set permissions and create a database. You don't have to do that. It's all one click, and you do that through the control panel. Your customers can do that through the control panel. Those are huge selling points because they'll like that. If they want to stage, and staging is interesting because this allows your clients to copy their website to another directory, another domain, a subdomain to work on it. So if they want to add another design, or if they're changing the features, but they don't want their live audience to see it. For example, if I'm going to go change my design of my WordPress site, I'm probably not going to get finished in one day. But if I have a live website, I don't want to make edits and mess it up for my live visitors. The one-click staging allows your customers to duplicate their live site, go in and make all the edits on their time, a week, 2 weeks, however long, and when they're finished, they can click publish and it'll push it back into the live site. And that way the visitors never know anything went on. So that's another huge selling point. Many hosts upsell for that. It comes standard at NameHero. The domain reseller account, remember, if you don't want to fund that right now, you still have to fund that extra to sell and transfer domains. Then you don't have to worry about doing that at this point, but you still get the free domain reseller account. If you go to a lot of these places to get a reseller account, a domain reseller account, they charge just to get the account. It comes free on all of our packages. You just have to request it, or you can set it up in WHMCS, and I'm going to show you where that is. Private name servers. So when you sign up with hosting, your domain, you have to connect it to name servers. So when your customer signs up, you give them the name servers of your brand. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about if it's confusing. But these are private white labeled to you. So I'll show you when I set those up so it makes sense. Custom branding, again, everything's white labeled to your company. From everything from your WHMCS website to the back-end control panels, you can put your logo, your name on it. So everything's from you. Set your own pricing. You set your pricing. We don't tell you what to price it. Security Shield, advanced firewall, intrusion detection and protection, real-time malware detection, proactive defense and reputation management, and auto application patching. I'm going to do another video where I really go in depth in all these features, but each one of these are unique security products of NameHero that, again, sets us apart from other hosts out there. So again, if you're shopping for reseller hosting, don't just look at the price and space and bandwidth. If you're going to do those 3 things, then really go look somewhere else, because we're offering a lot more than just a bunch of space and bandwidth and a price, right? We're offering a lot of other features in here that your customers are going to want and need, and they'll pay a little bit more for. And so the Security Shield product helps protect your customers' websites, like the auto malware detection or the real-time malware detection, auto application patching. If they have an application that has security holes, our system uses artificial intelligence to automatically patch those as those security loopholes are found. So there's all kinds of different things we do here at NameHero to help protect you and your customers, and they'll really appreciate it. What your customers are going to find from all of this is a high-speed, reliable, secure, and scalable web hosting solution. Finally, our superhero features. So we mentioned the Lightspeed web server. Let's talk really quick about the Lightspeed cache. If you've ever used WordPress before, and you've driven any amount of traffic at all, it's likely you've had a caching plugin. So W3 Total Cache is a big one out there, and there's many different products out there. Since we use the Lightspeed web server, Lightspeed has their own cache plugin, so it ties right into WordPress and the web server. So that's another huge selling point, because a lot of other hosts out there, they'll develop their own caching plugin or mechanism, or they'll suggest one, or maybe you have to go buy one. But this actually works right with the web server. So, even if a host develops their own, or you go buy another one, nothing's going to be as well as one that works with the web server. And so you can offer this for free with your clients. And again, that's another huge selling point for why they should go with you versus someone else. It is also known to be the highest performing WordPress cache plugin out there. We've got some articles on our blog and our YouTube channel here. We also feature it. So just type in Lightspeed Cache NameHero into Google and you'll get some information about that. Free Cloudflare and Railgun. Cloudflare is an excellent content delivery network and security tool. It'll speed up your websites. Railgun is something that we also include free. If your customers go to Cloudflare directly and buy that, you have to have the business account with Cloudflare, which is $200 a month. They can integrate it right inside of your account, your reseller account, for free. So that's another huge selling point. A lot of other competitors of NameHero, to get Cloudflare and Railgun, you have to pay a premium for Cloudflare and then another premium for Railgun. So the point I'm really trying to make here, if the Lightspeed, the SSD RAID 10, the SSL, the WHMCS, the Reseller Toolkit, Security Shield, and our superhero features, is we're packaging all of this in here. And so if you are going out to shop, make sure that you're getting all the features and you're hearing all the features from the ones you're shopping, just so you can give us an accurate comparison. A lot of hosts will list their prices out and list their stuff, but they'll hide a lot of this stuff, or just won't tell you, or don't even have it, or you get through the checkout and then they offer it there, and by the time you get through the checkout, you're at a really high price. So all of this stuff is standard. So again, if you're shopping, just make sure that you check that out. Finally, cPanel and Cloud Linux OS. So these are other big selling points. cPanel is a control panel that your customers will use. It's the most popular out there. Cloud Linux operating system, it allows for multiple versions of PHP. If your customers need to change their version of PHP for an older version of WordPress or for an older application, they can using Cloud Linux Selector, and it's secured PHP. So we say, in the hosting industry, you should always run the latest PHP. Well, that is true. You're going to get the highest security and best performance. But if your customer says, well, I want to, but I'm not quite finished upgrading my site yet. Well, they can run an older version using the Cloud Linux version, which is updated and secured by their team. So even though PHP has reached, that specific version has reached the end of life, it's still being updated by them. So it still gives them an option. Again, that's another huge selling point. All of these features are things that helped make NameHero what it is today, and it can do the same for your business, because still there's a lot of web hosts out there that are still stuck 10 years back, 15 years back, 20 years back. So you can really, drive a huge advantage. And if you're pulling over customers, these are all things you can say, hey, look, here's what I'm offering you. Here's what we have. Does your current host have all this? And I can say probably 9 out of 10 chances the answer is going to be no if they're with another host out there to have all these features bundled in together. Finally, free nightly backups. So this is for you and your customer. 1 night's retention. If they want to add more, there is ways, but we include 1 night's of data, and they can access this inside a cPanel, so they can download their backup if they want to, or they can restore without having to contact you or you contacting us. That's important too, because a lot of hosts out there, even SiteGround, which offers a great product, their nightly backups, you have to go request it from them, and there's only so many you can request. And so your customers, same here, then they can do it on demand at NameHero. 99.9% uptime and 24/7 support. It's important to mention, everything here at NameHero is developed on the cloud. So we're known for very high uptime, very high reliability. If you're shopping hosts, ask them what they mean by uptime. Our uptime means server website uptime. And if you go to the bottom of our site, we actually publish third-party reports every year down here that prove this. Not just network uptime. A lot of hosts, almost all the hosts out there, put 99.9% uptime. And if you go read the terms or read the fine print, they say network uptime. Network uptime says that their network never loses connection to the internet. I think that's worthless, because of course they're not going to lose connection to the internet if they're a serious data center. We're never going to lose connection to the internet because we have multiple backbones. However, this means your website is going to stay online 99.9% of the time. Go look at the reviews at NameHero. It's something I'm very, very strongly about. Downtime at NameHero is very serious. We hate it, and we know it costs you money. We know it costs your customers money, and so we try everything in our power, and we continue to make substantial investments in our infrastructure to keep it at 99.9%. So that's a really, really important thing. So all this stuff said, and again, I'm going to try not to get too much more long-winded in this, but these are important when you're signing up with the package from us, because these features are essentially your selling tools. These are your competitive advantage. Make sure you're really diving in, understanding them, and using them on your site to explain to your customers, because they're going to love it. You can go off to other hosts out there, because there are cheaper hosts out there. If you're just going on price, then NameHero is probably not going to be your lowest. But I'm going to go out on the limb and say we're probably going to be your most feature-rich for the price, best bang for your buck. Shop us out though and try it out. And you're welcome to do that and come back. If you think that someone else has something that works better for your business, only you can decide that. But I'm just kind of giving you a heads up to really dive into all these features and to understand that when you sign up with NameHero. All right, so we've talked a lot about our gold package. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate with today. Now, if you are in the United States, Canada, Mexico, North America, you should probably deploy on our U.S. data center. So you can see it's not highlighted here because these are the U.S. data center. It says it here. If you're international, NameHero's international audience is starting to grow quite a bit, meaning that if you're over the Atlantic Ocean or if you're over the Pacific Ocean this way, the Netherlands data center might perform or better for you because of latency. The longer someone has to travel to the data center, the longer it takes to upload stuff and all that. With Cloudflare Railgun, Lightspeed, SSD drives, most of the time your visitors, it's kind of irrelevant. But of course, if you're located in the European Union, many of those countries, test out the Netherlands data center. You might like it. It might work out better for you. Our pricing's currently the same. This might change over time, pricing between data centers. Since we are a US-based company, most of our customers are United States, Canada. But as we do grow in international presence, we've grown quite much internationally over the last couple of years. So we'll probably have some more options here. But again, that's how you just select this here. And you can see it changes in the package to make sure you're in the right data center. All right. And of course, the page has tons of more information here. I don't want to continue on and on with it. But if you need some more convincing or some more information, read through it, call us, chat with us, submit us a ticket, and we'll help you out. But I'm going to sign up for an example package. Now, when you go to order, you hover over here and you can see we have a couple different price points. So when I talked about our pricing in the earlier part of this video, I said the longer you sign up, the more you save. 3 years is $18.12 a month. If I want to go for 2 years, it's $18.67. 1 year, $19.24, and 1 month is $21.97. So this is one of the most confusing things at NameHero that we get is people say, well, okay, is this a recurring discount? If you go down here and look, the discount's valid on your first invoice only. So if you sign up month to month, your first invoice is your first month. So after this, it goes to the normal price of $39.95. So your first month's $21.97 and your next month's $39.95. 3 years, stay on there. My first 3 years, each month for 3 years is $18.12. After 3 years, the price goes up to its normal rate of $32.95. Now, throughout the years, we have specials, we have renewals, so you might even save even more. But my main point with this is, if you sign up for 3 years, you're going to be locked in, definitely locked in, 100% $18.12 a month. If you go month to month, then you're paying $39.95 a month. So you're going to save more than $20 a month by going with 3 years. So when we talked about our pricing earlier, about the daily, spending 58 cents a day and having to make, more than 58 cents a day, that goes up a little bit more if you go month to month. So that's up to you, however you want to do it. But 3 years, lower rate, you got some skin in the game. Don't have to worry about underpaying for 3 years versus month to month. Starting 1 month and, kind of getting your foot in the pool, but not all the way jumping in. The price is going to be heavier. If you're the type that wants to pay monthly, then that's fine. You can. We have that option, but you're going to maximize your revenue. You're going to get to profit faster going longer. I know it's a more of an upfront payment, but in the long run, you really, really save. My suggestion is to sign up and go with the longest term. You might feel differently about it, but it's completely up to you. You have options, and if you want to try us for a month and then you want to upgrade later on, you can do that, but we can't always offer the same deal that we're offering right now because this sale, it could end by the time you're ready or, it could change. So just please be aware of that when you're signing up. So with that said, I'm going to go with 3 years and I'm just going to click on it to begin the order process. Okay, so you have 3 different options. Register a new domain, transfer your domain from another registrar, or you already have your domain at NameHero, or you already have your domain somewhere else and you're going to update the name servers yourself. My suggestion with reseller hosting, since we offer private name servers, the easiest is to have your domain at NameHero. And I promise I'm not trying to say that because I just want to sell you. I'm saying that from experience and from monitoring the 300 tickets in the other screen right now. People have trouble, and this is not just, it's just anyone. If your domain's at GoDaddy, if your domain's at Namecheap, you have to go into their interface and register the private name servers. Our techs, me personally, we've been cussed at more because of this than almost anything else because it's confusing, because we don't know Namecheap. They update the interface, and we're not sure how to do it. GoDaddy, we know how to do it by giving their knowledge base link, but they update their site. We're not quite sure. No one knows GoDaddy like GoDaddy. No one knows Namecheap like Namecheap. So if you register your name with us, you can follow the tutorial I'm doing right now and just do everything right here and now. But if you have your name elsewhere, then you're kind of at mercy of their interface. We have a lot of customers who just get frustrated over the whole thing. So my suggestion is to register your name with NameHero. You can register a new one right here. If you have it at Namecheap, GoDaddy, or somewhere else, you can transfer it. All you have to do is go into GoDaddy, go into Namecheap, unlock the domain. Inside their interface, there's a lock and unlock. Unlock it, and then you get what's called the EPP code, which is like a password. And then you could type the domain in here, and then the next screen, you'll need that password to transfer the domain over. If you have your domain already at NameHero, you can use this. Or again, if your name's at GoDaddy and you say, no way, I'm not transferring my domain yet. Maybe once you prove yourself, Ryan, that's fine. That's fine. As long as you'll take care of that. Our support team, they don't log into your other interfaces. They'll log into NameHero and help. But as policy, we like to stay out of your GoDaddy account. We like to stay out of your Namecheap account. So, it's up to you to see that it's done. You can work with their teams or whatnot. So just a disclaimer in there, and I'm speaking off the 300 tickets I'm looking at right now and 5 years experience of NameHero. Now I do have, for this tutorial, I've got my domain already in my demo account, so I'm going to use option 3. And if you already have a domain with us at NameHero, then you can use option 3 as well. So I'm trying to look here, wsphost.com. This is my demo domain I picked up not too long ago, just because it was a 3-letter followed by host. I kind of liked it. And then of course the TLD goes here. So I'm going to use it. All right, so we're just going to kind of recap now. The Gold Reseller, we're in the US data center, 75 gigabytes of space, 800 gigabytes of bandwidth, 60 accounts to get the domain reseller, SSL, and name servers. Okay, so now there's some options. And again, remember I mentioned this in my earlier part of the video, kind of some additional costs. One, a dedicated IP. First, let's start with Drop My Site backups. So this is for your primary cPanel account. Do you want 30 days retention? I mentioned briefly when I was comparing the packages, we have automatic backups nightly, every night for free. But that includes 1 day's worth of data. Now, your primary domain is going to contain WHMCS, which contains all your customer data. Well, with 1 day's data, if something goes wrong and you only have that 1 day's data, that's all you have. So you might need to go back a couple days to recover whatever was deleted, overwritten, messed up. So Drop My Site is automated and it's all inside a cPanel, so you can go back 2 weeks and grab the data, and it's all automatic. Automatically just does this. So I recommend at least keeping more than 1 day's worth of backup. Ours are great, but I recommend keeping more. So just ask yourself this question: do I want to keep my own backups, or do I want to have it automated? If you want to keep your own, fine. The extra savings. If you want to use Drop My Site, it's $1.99 a month. So, it's still really, really cheap for 5 gigabytes of space. Once you reach 5 gigs of space, you can delete some backups or you can add some more space, and you can upgrade at any time. 10 is just $2.99 a month. If it's me, I don't like to have to worry about manually doing a lot of stuff. I try to automate everything I can. So I like Drop My Site for $2 a month. I like it because I'm going to know that my primary cPanel with my WHMCS. Now remember, this is not for customer data. This is for your primary account. And it's so important because it's going to contain your customer data. And you can add this later, but it's going to be automated. And so I like it, so I'm going to add it. Would you like to add a dedicated IP address for your customers to share? Yes, for $4 a month, or no? So you ask yourself this question: are my customers going to be using my services for email? Yes or no? Nowadays, a lot of customers, they like Gmail, they like to use Google Apps, or I guess it's G Suite now, formerly Google Apps, Zoho Mail. There's tons of other providers out there. They like to use third-party providers versus shared email hosting. So it's really up to you, and if they want it or they don't. If you're going to be hosting a lot of clients that do need email, I recommend this, but you can add it at a later date as well. So it's really up to you if you want to add it or not. I'm just going to, for this demo purpose, I'm going to say yes. I want them to. I'm going to assume that my customers are going to use the email. Do you want to upgrade the WHMCS starter license? So remember, this includes a powered by link, and most customers, they'll just go on with the powered by link. That's fine with them. If you do not want to say that, if that really bothers you that you can't completely white label everything, it's $10 a month to upgrade it. Now remember, all of these prices here, the discount here is going to apply to them as well, so it's going to be even cheaper than that. So if you want to just get started, if you're really tight on your budget, then don't worry about this right now. You can always go back and do it later. And same with the IP. If you say, Ryan, I don't know, my first 10 customers, I don't know how many of them are going to be using email. So I'm just going to wait for now. So it's really up to you, if you want to do it or if you don't. I recommend the dedicated IP. Just, if you have any inkling at all, they're going to be using email. I suggest it. And email will still work without it, but they have a higher level of being inboxed. A shared IP, a main master shared IP, is shared by an entire network. A dedicated IP for your customers is just limited to people who sign up for your service. So they're going to have a higher level of email deliverability because of it. So again, up to you. I'm going to go ahead and select it. The WHMCS powered by link, I'm just going to leave no for now because, as I said in my video, get your first 10 customers, then you can start adding even more. SSL certificates. We have the free and automatic Let's Encrypt SSL. So that's standard. I recommend it. Love it. That works fine. We have had a lot of requests recently to get premium SSL certificates. So some sites out there that are doing e-commerce or business websites, for whatever reason, they feel like, Let's Encrypt doesn't look professional. So if you click the certificate in the browser, it says Let's Encrypt. And most people don't have a problem with it. I would say 9 out of 10 don't, but there still is that 1/10 that said, hey, Ryan, we want an option to have premium SSL. And so this is unlimited. You're going to have the Let's Encrypt by automatic, automatically is going to work. But if you want to have a premium SSL for your domains, you can request that for an unlimited amount. And so this is something also you can upsell to your customers. So you can tell your customers, hey, we're giving you free and automatic SSL, but if you want to have a premium global sign domain validated certificate, we can sell it to you for $39.95 a year. And you're only going to be paying $1.94 a month for it, and you can sell it to as many customers as you want. So it's another upsell. It's another option. Again, it's up to you depending on where your budget is. It's something that was requested over and over again, so we added it here to the order form. I'm just going to keep it standard though right now. Again, I just feel like you need to get your first 5 to 10 customers. Try to keep your costs as low as possible, and then you can add in other things as you start to develop your niche, as you start to develop, who your audience is, and what exactly they're needing. Remember, the feedback from them, your initial customers, will tell you everything. That's how we get all this stuff at NameHero. That's why these options are here, because of feedback. People came through, hey, I want the powered by link removed. I would say probably 30 to 40% that sign up, they want it removed. And so we put it right here. And I would say that, 1/10 of them, a small percentage, want the premium SSL certificates. I would say that a lot of people want the drop my site backups. Most people do get that. The email, the dedicated IP for email, most people that are using email, again, the question is, are your customers going to use a lot of email? Yes, then choose it. If no, then no. So it's pretty simple there. All right, so now we come to our order summary page. So you can see we've got everything highlighted here, and our 45% discount is $630.83 you're going to save. So tremendous savings right off the top that you're going to get. $771.01, and again, this is for 3 years. So some people, they see this and it's too high. Well, it's 3 years of hosting. That's a lot of time, and when we boil that down per day, the cost you have to make per day is not that much. The cost you're investing per day is not that much. You're starting a business, and this is giving you 3 years of your operating cost. So again, it's up to you what term you go with, but you're certainly going to save a whole bunch more going for 3 years versus going month to month. So it's up to you. It's your business, your decision. If a number like this is too much for you for 3 years to start a business, then maybe starting a business isn't for you. And that's not a promise. It's not trying to take a knock at you, but putting skin in the game and getting your business started and having the opportunity to get up and going. My opinion, my experience in business, that's pretty friggin' cheap. My first hosting endeavor, dedicated server, was $150 a month. That was one single month, not to mention the $75 a year's domain I had, and then had to manually do everything else. There was no WHMCS. There was no anything else. So, kind of take it for what it's worth to make your decision. So I'm going to go check it out. And the first thing I need to do to get online is go ahead and enter all my information. I'm not going to type mine in right here. I'm going to pause the video while I do it, but I just want to highlight one thing really quick that some people get confused on is the support PIN. This is a unique 4-digit PIN code. So we have like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is if you need to call us or use live chat. Our team may ask you to verify this, or they're going to ask you to verify this. If you get locked out of your account, they're going to ask you to verify this. So make this a number that you're going to remember and perhaps write it down, because you're not going to see this again. Just in case, we've had cases before. Some people start reseller businesses with a partner, then their partner kind of have a falling out, and maybe it's not an equal partnership. But NameHero is not in the business partner dispute business. We're in the hosting business. So when you come to us and says, hey, business partner here got mad, they took my account over. All right, we're going to give the account back to who registered the account and can supply us with this information. Whoever supplies with that to us, that is who is the rightful owner of the account, unless we were ordered by a judge to say differently. So please enter a PIN and remember the PIN. And finally, you can pay with your credit card, credit or debit card. You can pay with PayPal, which allows you to do a bank transfer or a credit or debit card with them. And we also support Coinbase payments, and this is crypto, so not just Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ripple, all the popular cryptocurrencies. You can use this as well. I know that's been a pretty popular thing over the last couple of years, especially with more computer savvy people are pretty inclined to use that type of currency. But once again, you're saving about 50% with our current special. When you watch this video, it could be different, but if it is this price, I definitely would take advantage of that, because that's you're saving quite a bit. Finally, we have the email opt-in. If you want to opt into specials, as I said, over the years, we have opportunities to save. Like, if you sign up for 3 years, we might have a special to renew early and save even more. So you want to keep this ticked yes if you want to be notified of that. And if you don't, just say no. Some people hate offers in email, and I get it. So we have the option to do that. But then again, we have some people that say no, and then a couple months down the road, they say, why didn't I get any coupons for the year? Well, you opted out. So that's why that's there. And finally, I encourage you to please read the terms of service in our payment policy. Terms of service is going to let you know, what kind of sites you can and cannot host, what your customers can host. And, I get that you're probably not going to want to read through the whole thing, but at least skim through it. No adult sites, no torrent sites, no malicious sites, no free video sharing sites, nothing illegal or sketchy or shady, or anything that you couldn't sit down and show your kids or whatnot. That's what we allow, what we don't allow. So please just read through that or give it a quick gander. Payment policy, we offer a 30-day money-back policy within your first 30 days of your account. If you're not happy, you can cancel your account, and then you have to submit a refund request to our billing team. This is all in that payment policy. I'll tell you how. And within 31 days of that refund request, we'll send your money back, less an $8.95 setup fee, $8.95 setup fee. Please understand that. If I go through the reviews of NameHero, I hate seeing bad reviews. But if I go through all the review sites out there, and feel free, go shop me, go look at us, you'll see some in there. People got really mad because they had the setup fee deducted from their payment. So I'm telling you right here in this video, before you sign up, before you pay, that we have a setup fee if you request your money back, because that goes into our support team helping you. We have a lot of people, they'll come sign up, they'll ask a million questions, they'll use support time, and then they say, well, I just want a refund. Well, then, there was some time spent in that, and so all we're asking is an $8.95 setup fee out of that. So please keep that in mind. Just at least gander through that payment policy and the terms of service. And then once you have, you check this to say you did read it or gandered at it or at least agreed to it, because that is important. So now with all that said, give me a second. I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to deploy my account and I'll show you how to set up your site. All right, now I've completed my order. I hope you're as excited as I was when I first launched my first business, or if this is your second or third or fourth business, I hope you're just as excited as I was when I launched my 8th business, or 7th or 8th business, whatever NameHero is out of the businesses I've launched. I always get a lot of joy and excitement out of launching them because it is so exciting, because really the opportunities that you can do owning your own business and the experiences you have are amazing. I've been so blessed throughout my life looking back at, all the businesses I've launched, and, really the secret sauce in any of them is just getting up, doing it, and having hard work. I was never the smartest or the highest, rated in my class student, or, I don't have a doctorate or some fancy degree. I know anyone can do it. So I hope you are, just as excited as I am. I'm excited for you if you've reached this point of the video. Congratulations. This alone, you deserve a nice pat on the back, because a lot of people, they do not get this far. So if you've made the decision and you've came this far and you've put your skin in the game, you've made your payment, I'm so excited and happy for you. And I'm really delighted to work with you and be part of your journey. And I promise, me and my team at NameHero, we will do everything within our power to make your experience awesome. And we'll do everything in our power to make sure your customers have a great experience as well. So with that said, we pop up a survey after you pay because we want to know how the experience is. We're obsessed with customer service and feedback. So if this video helped you, or some other material out there, or if one of our sales technicians or support technicians helped you on the phone or in chat, we certainly do appreciate all fives. I tell my wife all the time, I love seeing the 5-star reviews and the positive feedback, much more so than I do money or anything else. I mentioned this earlier, revenues and profits, that does not really motivate me. I don't really care. Money, you have to have it. I hate having to have money, but that's just part of the world. You have to have money to buy servers and stuff. I do web hosting because I'm passionate. What I really want is you to be happy, and I want to know that we're doing our job, making you have a great experience. So if you did, I would love to see that. And if you didn't, hit me up. Hit me up personally, Ryan@NameHero.com. Let's talk. Let's see what we can do to make it great. But with that said, too, you have the opportunity to share your experience with others. This here is, both of these fields are posted publicly to share with others that come along. Nowadays, everything's about reviews. If I go to Amazon and buy something, I always read the reviews. And I feel like some Amazon ones are fake. But, at NameHero, we work with Shopper Approved. So it's a third-party vendor to where they validate the reviews. So when you're reading reviews about NameHero and they say shopper approved verified, that's how they know it. That's how you know it's legitimate. It's a real customer's feedback. So if you'd love to share that feedback with some other people out there, I call it paying it forward. When you get started in your own business, you're going to really understand how valuable that information is. And so, kind of pay it forward, and it's likely others will do that for you once you get going. But you leave those comments here, what do you think of us so far? And then why did you choose us? And it's all optional. If you don't want to leave any feedback, you don't have to. And then we automatically populate your email address. Your name doesn't populate because if you don't want your name, that's fine. It goes to say anonymous. But if you want to include your name, you can. Your email, this is just so we can follow up. It's not to market you or retarget you or anything like that. It's just so we can follow up with your comments. Now, some people, believe it or not, we've had them get really mad because they say, everything was going great till you gave me a damn survey. I get it. That I promise we're not forcing you because they say this survey is required. It's not required. This X up here, right here, just like a window in your computer, it closes you out. So if you do not want to do it and you say, they got to prove themselves to me, I've been burned in the past. I get it. We'll email you that follow-up survey later on. All right, so the order's confirmed, and as long as everything's good, as long as your credit card and everything went through, your account's online immediately. So I'm going to click Continue to Client Area. Okay, so this is the NameHero client interface. We use WHMCS as well, so this is kind of going to look similar to what your customers will see as well. So it's important to become familiar with this because, again, since your customers will be using it, then you'll be familiar for them when they come along as well. So you have here your hosting services, your domains, your tickets, and your invoices. So we just signed up for hosting. I already have domains in my account, and of course you need to submit a ticket to review your invoices are here. Now, NameHero does have something special that's custom. This isn't in WHMCS by default, or this message is not. We eliminate all passwords in the interface, meaning you can't view passwords unless you enable two-factor. Because we feel that that's the highest level of security. Two-factor means that you'll go there, click it to enable it. You'll download the Google Authenticator app on your phone, and then when you click to enable, you'll take a picture of the QR code, and you'll enter the 6-digit code from the app, the Google Authenticator app on your phone, into the browser. And then next time you log into NameHero, you enter your username and password, and then it asks for you that authenticator code. And so that makes sure that if someone guesses your username and password, they can't get access to your hosting. 2, if you do have a business partner or someone else in your company and you have to get rid of them or you get in a dispute, this way they can't compromise your account. And trust me, you may say, that never happened to me. Well, I can tell you horror stories that I've seen of business partnership shakeups and all that. And I personally have to get involved in some of them and say, hey, we're a host, not a business dispute partnership people, the police. We're not business police, we're not lawyers. So, take the opportunity now by securing your account, especially when your company starts to get popular. It brings a lot of eyebrows. Keep it secure. This way, only you with your phone, that private key to Google Authenticator app is stored on your phone. And so that means that as long as you have your device in your possession, no one can get into it. It's not a text message code, so we don't text it to you. It's an actual app on your phone. So just keep that in mind. That's to show the service passwords. It's the highest level of security. Highly recommend it. All right, so I'm going to let me just go back from the beginning here. I'm going to go into my package because I want to set up those private name servers. That's step 1 to getting our website online. All right, so I ordered the Gold Reseller. Now I've got some demo packages here because, of course, I'm testing and demoing and doing videos all the time. If you have a new account, you probably only have one. So you can see Gold Reseller, WSP host. You're going to notice a red, and it says no SSL detected. That's because I don't have my name servers set up. So once I set them up and SSL generates, you'll turn green like this one here. So if it's red, give it 24 to 48 hours. And once your DNS is propagated, once it's connected, it will turn green for you because it is free and automatic at NameHero. So I'm just going to click Gold Reseller. All right, so this page contains all the information about my account, and I'm going to go through it here with you so you understand it. You have the Gold account. It's reseller hosting. This is your primary IP address. If you ordered a dedicated IP address, it will be different than someone who did not. So that's the big thing for that. And if your customers are using a third-party DNS provider, meaning they do not want to use your private name servers to connect their domain to your hosting, they would need to point their A record at this primary IP address. So, and that might sound complicated, and I promise it's not. But if if your customers are using third-party DNS, they're going to know, hey, I need an IP address, not these name servers. So your customer will most likely know the answer to that, or you can ask our team and we'll tell you. But 99% of your customers, especially if they go through your WHMCS, when they sign up, for them to connect their domain to your hosting, they use these name servers. So if you've ever bought hosting before, you understand this. You can buy a domain anywhere, GoDaddy or Namecheap or whatnot, but what connects the domain to the hosting is the name servers. And so like if you sign up for our basic hosting packages at NameHero, you would use like ns1.namehero.net, ns2.namehero.net, or it goes all the way up to a couple hundred. But since you are a reseller, you're going to give customers your own name servers. So this way they never see NameHero. But we need to configure these really quick. So this is why it was important to register or transfer your domain to us. So I'm going to go right here to the Manage Domain button because my domain's with NameHero. And as I mentioned earlier, if your domain is not with us at NameHero, you would need to do this in wherever that domain is hosted. All right, sorry about that. I paused real quick because I had updated Chrome and my toolbar up here wasn't showing, so I can't switch back and forth. So all I did was click the Manage Domain button so I can go right over here to where my domain is, because my domain's registered at NameHero. So you can also get to it by going to Domains and My Domains, but I think it's just as easy to click Manage Domain here. If your name's not registered at NameHero, this button won't show. You'll need to go at this point in time of the tutorial, you'll need to go into Namecheap or to GoDaddy or wherever and register your name servers. This is important, and customers get angry when things don't work, but they're not going to work if you don't do this step correctly. So please do. So right here is our domain, or my domain I'm using, WSP host. I'm going to go on under Manage and click Private Name Servers. So it's right here. And while that loads, here it is, I'm going to go back over here and copy this IP address. Copy. So I'm setting up ns1.wsphost.com. So I need to type in ns1 and paste that IP and click Save. And while that saves, I'll grab the second one. All right, it was successfully registered. And paste. Whoops. Save. Okay, so again, that's really important that I do that. That's called registering your name servers. That just ties those private name servers to your domain. Now, one more step in our domain area, we need to go to name servers and change them. And your name servers might be, something else, another host, or just defaults or whatnot, but click Use Custom, and we want to type in what we just registered. So ns1.wsphost.com, ns2.wspshost.com, and save. So that takes the ones you just registered, and now you're going to use them. So just save it, and we'll be all set for the next part. So again, if your domain's somewhere else, again, I'm not trying to pressure you to bring it over to us. I'm just saying it's easier because I can show you right here. If you're in somewhere else, you have to follow their tutorial. And I know some of the other registrars out there, they make it a little bit more confusing, in my opinion, than it should be. Okay, so back to our package. So now we need to set these up inside of our web host manager. And it's, again, this is easy stuff here, but it's just some steps that have to be done. So I'm going to click Login to Web Host Manager. And this is the control panel to where you set up all your accounts. If you're using WHMCS, most of this is done in there. If you ordered the silver and don't have it, then everything would be done inside of here. So you're not going to use Web Host Manager a lot. So if like some of these options kind of intimidate you, don't worry about it, because you're going to really create everything inside of WHMCS. But it's still there, and they're pretty self-explanatory, and there's tons of documentations, and I have tons of tutorials on them. But the main thing we want to do right now is register those take those registered name servers and set them up here. So I'm just going to type in this search box DNS and click Edit DNS Zone. So you're going to see here I just have my domain that I just set up. I'm going to click Edit. And I just have to change these name servers to my private name servers. So these are just NameHero's white labeled name servers. Those that say I register my domain at GoDaddy, I'm not going to fool with them, I want to use your name servers, then that's what they are. And likewise inside of here, if you see below here, use our name servers, that's an option too. You can give your customers these. These are white labeled, so like ns65.securecloud2, ns66.securecloud2. This does not trace back to NameHero, but it's just not your domain it's using. So, some customers will say, I don't want to fool with the registering the name server, so I'll just use these. So those are already set up for you if that's what you want to do. Most of our customers want to use their own though, so that's what I'm showing you how to do here. So I'm just going to change this to ns1.wsphost.com, period. So there's a period at the end. Make sure you add that. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go down here and change this one to the same thing. And I'm going to change the second one to ns2. So once again, it's ns2.wsphost.com, period. There's a period at the end. And then finally, I need to add those IP addresses that I registered. So under Add New Entries, I'm going to do ns1, and I'm going to do ns2. I'm going to leave this. It's called the Time to Live, TTL. I'll leave that default. This is seconds. And I'm going to choose a record. I'm going to choose an A record, and then I'm going to grab those IPs again. So this one, copy. This one, paste. This one, copy. And this one, paste. All right, so that's all I did, is I edited NameHeroes for this one. So the top one is ns1 dot your domain, period. And then you add it again here, and then you add the second one here, and then you put these two IP addresses in here. And I go down here and just click Save. I'm done. That's all you have to do to set up your private name servers. Now, I will say, our order processing team, the guys and gals that process your order when you come into NameHero, if you registered your domain with us, they're going to go in and make sure this is done. So if you're not quite to it yet, it might be done by the time you log in. If you sign up and then you go out for a bit, they're going to get to it and do it. Also, if you go in and do it, they're going to go behind you and check. So they'll make sure it's done right as well if your name is registered with us. If you're transferring your domain, then they will assist you once it's transferred over. But a domain transfer can take anywhere from 3 to 5 business days because it depends. Your old domain registrar, they have to release the name to us. And like GoDaddy, I know they're pretty good. If you call them, most of the time they'll release it pretty quick. But again, some customers get mad when they order a transfer and like, well, it's taken 3 or 4 days. Well, it's not NameHero. It's your other domain registrar. They have to release it. If you just registered your domain newly, let's say you bought a domain at GoDaddy, if it's younger than 60 days, there's actually a lock called an ICANN lock, and it can't be moved out of GoDaddy until it's 60 days old. They do that to prevent domain theft and abuse. So that's important too. If you just registered your domain, don't go transferring it, register a new one with the NameHero, or you have to wait 60 days to move it in. So just some stuff there that I know that we have customers ask about and sometimes get upset. So I don't want that to happen with you. Okay, so now this is all set up. Now, if I click my domain, I can click here and this will take me to wsphost.com. It might or might not work because once you edit and set up name servers, there's a period called DNS propagation. And so this is the same when your customers come and sign up. Don't be alarmed if your site doesn't load just immediately, because once you set up name servers and make those changes, it has to go through a period called propagation. And that basically means your internet service provider, whoever you're connected through, Comcast, I use Google Fiber, AT&T, whoever your internet service provider is, they have to actually pull these name servers globally into their system. And it takes time for that to happen. In the United States nowadays, most of the time it happens pretty quick. If you've never been to the domain before in your browser, most of the time it's instant. If you have been, it might take 24 hours. Average 5 hours or so in the US, sometimes an hour. But if it doesn't load right off the bat, then just take some time and kind of group yourself together before going to it or whatnot. And if you're an international customer, sometimes the internet service providers in other countries are slower. So we always say 24 to 48 hours from registering and setting up your domain, allow for it. But most likely a couple hours is enough time. If you've never been to it, it's a new domain. A lot of times it is pretty instantaneous. So let's just click it and I'll see. Yeah, and you can see it's working. So WSP host is working. So that was pretty instantaneous. This isn't a new domain registration, but I had not been to it on this computer. I'm on a special computer I use for filming. And so that's why it's working. Now you're going to notice it says not secure, and that's because the SSL module is not run yet. So when you first set up your domain, until the name servers are set up, the SSL can't validate to install. So if you don't see the secure certificate yet, don't freak out. It's going to install within that 24 hours. Most of the time, a couple hours. Just waiting for that DNS to click in. Okay, so now we can, we're good. Our domain's loading, and we can go ahead and install WHMCS and have our site online. Because remember, you want to get that MVP out the door. You want to get that site online, and I say 24, 48 hours, I'm challenging you to get your first customer. So, if you run into propagation problems, I'm saying 24 to 48 hours from the time you have your website online, your WHMCS installed, you should be trying to get your first 5 to 10 customers. That period is crucial because, again, too many customers sign up and they lollygag, wait around, and then, they just spend too much time doing other things. They kind of lose that initial boost of motivation. So, go out while you're amped, go out while you're fresh, because that's when, in my opinion, for me, I'm the best at selling, and I'm excited and into the moment. If I just let it drag on, I kind of lose that momentum. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my control panel here. I need to get my WHMCS license to install it, my free license. So if I look right here to my right, add-ons and extras, this is where they are. If I click my drop down, here's my options. So they have WHMCS has a couple different tiers. They have their starter license, which is free. It's right here. And I'm going to reorder these so they're a little bit easier to see. But the free one's right here. It allows for 250 customers with that branded by, powered by link. If you don't want to have the powered by link, you can click and get that discounted WHMCS Plus license. If you ordered this when you signed up, then it's likely it's already showing in your account. If it's not showing, give our team just an hour or two to get it in there and process, most of the time sooner, or hit us on live chat or call us and we'll get that set up ASAP. But if you want to order the non-branded license, you can, or you can upgrade it later on. So those are those two. Now the professional license, it allows for up to 1,000 customers. So really, you don't need that until you have 1,000 customers. The business license is unlimited customers, so you don't need that until you hit 1,000 customers. So like a company like NameHero, we have to use the business license, and so that's why it's available. And all of these are discounted from WHMCS's rates, so you're not going to pay full rate regardless of where you are in your business. But if you're just getting started, the free license is going to work just fine for you. And again, if you're the type that doesn't want to have the powered by link, you can go with the Plus license. It's discounted. Like I said, it's like $5-10 a month, so it's pretty cheap as well. But if you don't want to add that extra cost, I get it. Just use the free one. That works just fine. I click purchase and activate. Looky here, free. Nothing beats free. Click checkout. Go down here. You don't have to enter your credit card. It won't submit though if you don't, so you can click PayPal and terms of service and complete order. Once again, it's free, but this just processes it. And so now you're set. So your WHMCS license has been dispatched. So now, since it is free, our team does have to just approve it. So give me a second. I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to approve my own. Most of the time, we approve it within 5-10 minutes. If it takes any longer than that, hit us up. We'll do it for you, pretty quickly. But just give me 1 second while I go approve mine. Okay, I went ahead and approved it, and there's actually 3 in the queue, so I approved 3 others. And we do that, anytime it's free, we always have to watch and make sure that, someone's not trying to get one over on us or anything like that. Just make sure that the order is legitimate. If you did do a paid license, it is automatically generated, but the free ones just take a few minutes for us to approve and make sure that, everything works well with your package. So I'll go back to my package, and now you can see this is my license key right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this because I'm going to need it. I'm going to actually need to copy some other things, so I'm just going to bring another window up here so I can copy and paste to it. And likewise, if you're following this tutorial, have you a notepad document or a text pad document or a Word document to where you can kind of paste everything in so you have all your information together, so when you come back tomorrow or the next day to work on things, you have everything, or you have a record and can save it. I always recommend a password manager too, but you might even want to throw this license key in there too. Even though it does stay in the interface, it's just good to have it in one spot. All right, so I want to go into Web Host Manager, or go into cPanel. So Web Host Manager, this is the master reseller control panel. cPanel is the individual site control panel. So cPanel is what your customers are going to use. Web Host Manager is what you use as the reseller. So I'm going to click log into cPanel because that's where I want to set up WHMCS. Now, the first thing you might think, why the heck does it say NameHero? Well, that's because we are NameHero and this is our branding. You can replace this with your logo and I will show you how. But so don't worry about that. You can change that. Right now, we just want to get our site set up and online, and I'll show you how to change that. If I look here on the right, here's some information about my hosting package, and your customers are going to have a control panel just like this. So if you've never used cPanel before, it makes sense to go through here and get really familiar with this because your customers are going to have questions and you can answer them. You can see there's no valid certificate yet. If I click this wrench, you can see here, my SSL has not generated yet. And remember I said because DNS has to propagate before this runs, and then that will be green. All these will be green. But if I'm impatient, like I am, I can click all this and click run auto SSL, and I can kind of force run it. Now this takes just a little bit to run. So don't get impatient, just let it run and go do something else for a little bit. But this way you can kind of force that auto SSL to generate. We know because our site's loading that the DNS has propagated, so we can go ahead and tell the system, hey, I know the DNS is good, do it now, versus it waiting for a little bit. But eventually it will automatically just do it, and same for your customers. But we put that option in there because some people do get impatient, like I want it right now. I know the DNS is propagated, so I'm just going to click the logo and go in here and start on WHMCS while that generates. And looky here, the wrench is gone because it has generated now. So my secure certificate is there. All right, so let's install WHMCS to get our website up and running. And we'll scroll down here to the bottom. So there's a lot of features in here, and I could spend hours going through each one of these, and I do. If you go through our YouTube channel, our knowledge base, our blog, I've got videos on almost all of this stuff. So it's beneficial to watch those, but again, don't get too hung up on all that. This will become very familiar with you as you begin to use it. If your customers currently use cPanel at another host, which cPanel is the most used control panel in the world, they're probably already familiar with this. And likewise, you might be too if you've ever had web hosting before. So it might be just kind of a refresher if anything else. But I'm gonna go down here to the bottom to Softaculous Apps Installer. This is where we're going to install WHMCS, and your customers have access to this too because this is how they can install WordPress or any of these other pieces of software. But for you want to click WHMCS to install that. Okay, so this is the app installer, and this gives some brief information about WHMCS, if you're not that familiar with it. And this screenshot's older than me. This is an old version of WHMCS. Gosh, look how that looks really bad. But anyways, it looks a lot better than that nowadays. I don't know why they haven't updated that. Anyways, I'm going to click install now. Okay, so there's a couple options. You can click quick install, and this just really simplifies it, just makes the install process even easier. A custom install gives you some extra options, but if you just really want to keep it easy, just go to quick install and just do it that way, just so you don't overwhelm yourself. Choose installation URL. So we just have one domain. This is the domain we want to install it on. Next, in directory. So when we go to WSP host, it loads just nothing. So if you want WHMCS to show up as soon as your client types in your website address, then you want to remove in directory. Because this puts it, if you leave something in here, this puts it in a subdirectory. So like if I go over here, if I wanted it in like /billing, if I wanted someone to go to my website and go /billing to get to it, then I would put billing in here. But I would still need to have a website, in the root directory to show them. So maybe I'm using WordPress or something else. I recommend just putting WHMCS on your root domain. That's how NameHero is. That's how I recommend doing it. Some people do it differently. Some other hosts out there, A2 Hosting, they use WHMCS. They use a subdomain for theirs. So it's really your own personal preference. But if you're new, just delete the in directory and put it on your root domain. Data directory, WHMCS data, don't change. There's no need to change that. Okay, that's just where the data is going to be stored. So no one sees that anyways. The admin folder. So WHMCS has what's called a front end and a back end. The front end is what your customers go to and sign up and manage their account. The back end is where you configure and set up everything. So this URL has to be public facing, because if you have employees that join you down the road, which I hope you're so successful that you do, and they need access to the back end as well. But you need to call this a custom name, not admin. Please don't use admin. This way that your customers can't get to your back end. Yes, you're going to have a username and password, and I recommend two-factor, but still this URL, this address, should not be one that someone could easily guess, because you don't want the general public on your back-end directory. So just call it something that's, is you can remember, but something that's just not something that's like admin. Admin's bad. I don't know why would they put that in there. So like, I don't know, WSP host, so team host 1, team host 19, something like that. Don't use special characters in here though. Don't use your @ your excitement points, because that won't work. You can only use letters and numbers. And you can use, I guess you could put a combination of capitals, but really, just lowercase and numbers. That's going to help. Okay, they just make it something to where it's not, admin. It's not something that someone's going to guess. Valid license key. So that's where we need this that we copied already. We need this license key. It starts after that 1 dash right there. This is what you need. We take it back over to Softaculous and we paste that in here. So this tells Softaculous that you've paid for it and this is your license. Admin username and password, you can see this is automatically generated, a really strong one. That's a nice one actually. But you might want to call your admin username, something that you can remember. So, Ryan host 19. I like to use some numbers in it as well. Again, no special characters, but you wouldn't want to use admin in this either. Use something that's, not something that a bot's going to try to guess, because there are evil doers out there and they will try to get into your install. So I'm just going to make some notes here in my document about my username and password. I like this password. I'm not going to remember that, so I had to copy that. So I just want to make some notes and put this in here, because this is how I'm going to log in, and I wouldn't want to lose that. If you do lose the login, that's why you enter a valid admin email. So by default, it's like admin at your site. Enter your email address you're using now that works. So in case you get locked out, you can send a password reset to it. This is something I'm talking about from experience. Some people, go through, they're all amped up, start their business, and they do what I suggest, make it hard to guess, but then they don't write it down or don't copy it, and then they're locked out. And then if they don't have a correct admin email, you have to go in on the back end to get into it. It's kind of a pain and they get a little upset. So, make sure you enter a valid admin email. Finally, email installation details. If this is your first time, you probably should just email this to yourself, because this will tell you where everything's installed, for WHMCS. I've been doing this for a bit, so I'm not going to enter it, but feel free to do that. It's an option. All right, so now I'm going to click install. And it's going to do its thing here. All right, so now WHMCS has been successfully installed. So that was pretty painless, right? There's no uploading, there's no file permissions, or there's no, complicated stuff. You didn't have to go create a database and add permissions and add users. You didn't have to do any of that. You just had to enter some information. Now, if we go to WSP host, which I have open here, and I now refresh it, I've got a website, and it's working, and it looks pretty good. So this is WHMCS. And as you can see, it looks not bad, right? And if I would, minimize my browser or go get on my phone, this formats to your phone. So your customers, they're going to like it. It's going to show up on all their devices. And so really, now we just have to configure this, and you can start selling your hosting. So how can we help you today? Order hosting. Your customers, we haven't set up anything yet, but they can essentially start ordering pretty quickly, and you've got your own website going. So once again, if you've made it this far, give yourself another pat on the back. Congratulations. This is making great progress. I do want to set up some hosting packages though, so I can show you how it works. So let's dive into the back end really quick. And let me show you how to do just an initial setup. I'm going to show you how to set up just one package and get everything kind of integrated so you can go out and focus on getting your first 5 to 10 customers. Because remember, that's what we want to do. Our website's online now, so I challenge everyone, once your site's online, go out and get your first 5 to 10 customers. Yes, you might want to change some of these colors and modify some of these templates, and I get all that. You want it to look just right, but I also want you to get your business going. If you send this, like when I started NameHero, send it to your dad, your brother, your friend, your mom, your partner, whatever, they're not going to care so much whether this is blue or pink or purple, as long as they can go click here and order hosting and sign up, and they know that someone trusted, they're going to appreciate it, and you're going to start getting business, and you're not going to feel so stressed because that payment you just made, and you're now going to have people paying you, and you know that you're making a profit on it already, so you're not kind of putting anything off. You're getting going right then and there. So just give me a little bit, and we're going to dive into that back end. Okay, so now our website is online. We've installed WHMCS, and our goal here is to get our MVP up, our minimum viable product, and to get our first 5 to 10 customers within 48 hours of getting this online. So in this next part of our video, what I'm going to do is walk through the simple configuration process of WHMCS, and then after that, it's up to you to go out and get those first customers. And again, everything does not have to be perfect starting out. Remember, you're just trying to get some business going. You want to offset your costs with revenue so you can be making a profit, even though it might be a small profit, just because it then will take the heat off of you having to kind of scramble to make a profit. And when I go back and look at those cancel requests, you're not saying, well, it's too expensive cutting any customers. Well, if you take action early on and kind of take that heat off, and then you can kind of breathe and go through and get everything set up, and meticulously make sure everything's how you want it. Again, that's probably the number one mistake that I see new resellers make, is they want everything perfect before they even start getting customers. But what happens is that life happens and things kind of come along, and they put it off until the next bill comes due. And then of course it looks like it's too expensive because you haven't taken any action. So let's not do that. Let's get right here to work. And this is WHMCS makes this very simple. So what I want you to do, if you're following along, is go over here to the Softaculous page. And this is a page we were shown as soon as we installed WHMCS. One, we have our website, which looks like this right now. And again, it's not all customized. It doesn't look like NameHero looks all customized and in order, but it is a functioning site. We just have to configure the back end so you can begin accepting payments and also set up hosting packages. And then the second link is the administrative URL, and that's where we're going to be working. Now, if you remember, we named our custom admin directory something that's kind of hard to guess, and I hope you did the same thing. It's public facing, so if it was like /admin, then anyone that tried to type in yoursite.com/admin would see this. And so the point is, you don't want just the everyday person being able to find this area. So that's why we use something unique. All right, so now we're going to log in. And I said that's why it's important to write down that information. I've got mine copied in another document, but of course, if you did forget it, click Forgot Password, and that's another reason why it's important to use a valid email address on that. Okay, so let's log in and take a look at the back end. I'm going to copy my password and enter my information. So Ryan Host 19. And paste. And again, it's good here, don't use admin as your username, because if someone's trying to get in, that's one of the first things they're going to try. I like to use just some lowercase letters, maybe some uppercase as well, with just a number. And this just makes it random. So if they did find the URL to your backend, and then they're also going to have to guess the username and password, which I think it's after 5 login attempts, it's going to automatically block them. So that's another added security bonus. All right. Okay, so you can see the first time you load WHMCS, you get their quick start wizard. I do recommend this. This keeps it very simple. Now, if you kind of skipped ahead and you close this out, you can go to, I think it's Help and Setup Wizard, and I'll bring this back up. So this just makes it easy. It puts all of our initial configurations in one area, because you can fill this out and then get going fairly simple. So it says, welcome to WHMCS. If you in a few steps, you'll be ready for your first orders. So, I can't give the team at WHMCS enough props for putting this in there because it really does simplify it. So this is what we're going to go through. I'm going to click next. Okay, so the first thing here is to enter some basic information about our company. So I think NameHero LLC is probably default because of the license. So of course you want to change that so it's white labeled. So my example domain was WSP host. So that's, let's say that's going to be my company. And, if you don't have it formally registered yet, don't put LLC or incorporate behind it because, of course, that's not being honest. So that's what we're going to do. Logo. If you don't have a logo, that's okay. It's going to show just the company name here. It's going to show just company name. Once again, this goes back to, making everything perfect versus getting it online. If you do have a logo, fine, upload it. But if you don't, you can get one made. Just, the thing is you want to take the heat off. Get your first customers, then you can get a nice fancy logo. Okay, email address. This is going to be used for your default sender for all emails. So when the system sends out a welcome email or a system sends out an invoice, this is the email address it's coming from. So if a user would reply, they might be expecting a response from this. Now at NameHero, we set this to a do not reply email address because we want our customers to use our ticketing system. If they have a billing or support issue, we want them to email the appropriate department. So it's up to you. I like the do not reply on this just because, if it's a general email box, they might be emailing support questions, they might be emailing sales questions, and it's hard to keep up, especially once you get popular. So you can do this, do not reply. And so again, this doesn't mean that they can't reply. This just kind of tells them, hey, this is not a monitored email box. Because I know sometimes at NameHero, people will still reply to this, and then they'll get, they'll be like, why am I getting a response? Well, it's a do not reply email address. Open a ticket from the client interface, or email support at NameHero, sales at NameHero, or billing at NameHero. Okay, so this is your physical address, and this is to what goes on your invoices. So this is going to be shown to your customers. So this is a couple things here. If you don't want your home address shown, then you need to have an office location to put on here. If you do not have a home location or an office location, maybe you have a P.O. box, and you can go rent a P.O. box. I know here in the United States, you can go rent one at the post office or at the UPS store. So, that might be an option if you do not want to use your home address on here. So that's, again, it's up to you. I'm kind of finicky about putting my home address out there, especially to customers all around the globe. So we've always had our office address. So I'm just going to enter that here. Something like this. So this just goes on all your invoices. We are in the United States and we speak English. If it's different for you, put that appropriate. Okay, so now we have ways we are going to accept payments. So they have PayPal and they have a credit card in here, and then mail-in payment. Okay, so here's the thing. You want to be able to accept credit cards because obviously most people, that's how they pay. At NameHero, we accept all major credit cards. That's Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express. And then we also accept PayPal and also cryptocurrency. And, we talked about that when we signed up for our package. PayPal is probably the fastest and easiest to get started because even if you don't have a PayPal account set up, which, a lot of you watching this, I'm assuming you probably do. My wife has, she has a small business to where she sells Scentsy, which is a product, kind of a pyramid type marketing product, but she has a PayPal account. So if you don't have one or you want to create a new one, then you just enter the email address here. So for example, our new site is WSP host. So maybe I would do billing at WSPhost.com. And the cool thing about this is if I don't have a PayPal account here yet, but when I get my first payment, it'll automatically set it up to where once I claim it, this will create the account for me. So again, your objective here is to get off the ground right now, like to get going. So if you have a PayPal account, put it in here. If you don't, then it will create one for you. Now, credit card processing. This is provided by Evo. This is like a sponsored merchant account. If you enable this, you actually have to go apply for a merchant account. And, that's great once you get going. But if you're just starting, don't do that. Don't, because it's just too much to go trying to apply for one. And I don't know if they do a credit check or not, but it's a lot of paperwork. So instead, I recommend using Stripe. If you're going to accept credit cards directly instead of PayPal allows you to do it, but if you want another option than PayPal, Stripe's a good one. And Stripe has a very easy and fast sign up. So right now I'm just going to disable this, and instead of going through Stripe, let's just start with PayPal. Your first 5 to 10 customers. Most everyone's familiar with PayPal. They can use their credit or debit account. They can use their bank account. So they can send you money. You can get paid, and it's just super easy to get started. So that's what I recommend for those first 5 to 10. Mail-in payment. So, if you're going to be targeting local customers, you might accept this, which means, after they sign up, they have to physically write a check and mail it into you. I personally am not a huge fan of it because most customers, especially online, they want it set up as quickly as possible. And, having to deal with paper and all that, in 2019, heading into 2020, I just don't really like that. But it's up to you to accept this or not. So I'm going to disable it. Those that want to write a check, I say, hey, you can use your bank account through PayPal. Just go to paypal.com, sign up for an account. You can add your bank account and send us money that way. That's what I recommend that you do as well. Okay, so that's the payment issue. Next, domains. So at NameHero, your WHMCS account comes with a free domain reseller account. And so that's through Enam. And if you follow this, you can see you can create a free Enam account here. Now, the thing about this is, when you do this, you still have to fund this account. Even though the account's free, you get to sign up for the account for free. If you go to enam.com directly, you would have to pay just to get the account created, but you still have to fund it. And I think the minimum balance is $25. So when people buy domains from you, then it's deducted off that. So you can see you would set your price here. This is what you charge, but I think your cost is about $11.95. So setting it at $14.95, you would mark it up like $3. If you're not ready to spend another $25 right now to fund that, you can just disable domains, which means they can't register or transfer, but they can set up their hosting with you. And again, this is to save you money right off the top. So this is up to you if you want to do this now or if you don't. I've got several videos on how specifically to set it up, and I also have one on Reseller Club because Enam's kind of went down a little bit. Their service has really gone downhill the last couple of years. So you can use Reseller Club as well, which is free. But I'm not going to enable it right now because remember, I want my first 5 to 10 hosting customers. We can get into domains later on. Of course, people are going to want to do that. It's a great upsell. But if you're not prepared to spend another $25 right now, then let's just focus on getting those customers. So I'm going to go next. Okay, so the last thing here is we have to connect our reseller account with WHMCS, the reseller account we just set up. So what I want you to do is go over to your client area, go to email history, and you might have this in your inbox, so it might just be just as easy, but you want your reseller account information email because this has the information that we're going to input into WHMCS. So I'm going to go down here and look for mine. And once again, every time I do a video, it seems like there's some people that, want to log in to these accounts. I am going to clear all this out and delete it, so there's no need even trying. And that's why I feel comfortable showing my password right now, because again, by the time this goes to YouTube, this account won't exist anymore. But don't share this with anyone. Print this out, save it. This is your master reseller account. So if someone gets this password, they could have access to your customers. Okay, so with this pulled up, I want to go back to the client area and go back to my services as well because I need the name of the node it's on. So the node this is on is lucas.securecloud2.com. This is the host name. Now this is not changeable. This is white labeled though. So your customers will see this, but they don't see NameHero. And the way you word that to your customers is that's our domain that we have our servers created on. Some customers get mad about that, but that's how it works with reseller hosting. Reseller hosting is you're sharing a parent node with other resellers, but your customers never see NameHero. If they type in securecloud2.com, it's just a blank white page that says if abuse, contact abuse at securecloud.com. So it's, this is white labeled, customers never see it. Don't think too much into that. We do need to copy this. Back to WHMCS, host name or IP. This is that's going to go in there. Username and password. We go back to our email. This is what we're going to input in here. WSP host is our username, paste, and our password is going to be this. Copy. All right, we're going to go back to here and paste. All right, now don't let this scare you if you verify the connection and you get this API token error, because we need to go in and verify this another way as well. I don't know why this seems to come about in the recent versions of WHMCS, but I'm going to show you how to correct that here in just a second. Let's just finish filling this out. Okay, this is used to identify the server name. So what I like to do is just use this same host name. If you want, you can just call it Lucas or whatnot, but it's just so you can identify it, because once your reseller business grows, you're going to have more than one server. And this is what also, if you want to have multiple reseller packages, you're going to have multiple ones on different nodes. So this just helps you identify which node is which. Primary IP, and this is displayed in welcome emails. So if we go back to our client area at NameHero, you're going to see it's under here. See your primary IP? I'm going to copy that. Paste that here. And then our name servers. Once again, this is what connects your customers' domains to your hosting, and this is why we set those up. So we're going to go back here and grab them. NS1 and NS2. So we'll put those in here. Paste and paste. All right, NS2 and next. All right, setup complete. Click Finish. Okay, so now let's correct the server details. So setup, product and services, and servers. Okay, you can see this is the server we set up. So let's click on this modify button, and we're going to test this connection again. So we'll go down here, test connection. Okay, you can see it connected here. So earlier when we got that issue, we went here and it says it's fine. So let's remember to use that as well. Now, it's important, you can see here, API token. This is what you want to use rather than your password. So let me show you how to generate that as well, because that's important. So you're not using your password. In case you change your password, it doesn't break the connection. So this is simple. I go back over here to NameHero, and I click Login to Web Host Manager. And in the search box, I type in API, Manage API Tokens, and I go to Generate a Token, and I can call this whatever. I just do WHMCS, and I'll call it 1 since I already have one. It should not expire. Give it access to all privileges by default. Click Save, and this is your token. So we copy this here. And we go back in here. We delete the password since we use that in the other step, and we paste this token here. And we make sure we're using secure connection, and then we of course test to make sure it is successful. But it is important to do that, because you want to use the API token. So if you ever do change your cPanel password, your main reseller password, you're not breaking the connection in WHMCS. So once we do that, we click Save. Now, if we go back, there's a couple options you can do as well, like monthly cost. Now, remember, this is how much the package costs us. So if it was about $18 with the special, we can enter 18. If you want to overestimate this, you can put like 20, because when you're running revenue reports, this is going to show you your cost minus your revenue and what your profit is. So this helps you predict, am I profitable or am I not? So I like to just kind of round up, because then I know that if I'm rounding up just a little bit, if my cost is really 18, I round it to 20. If my cost is 35, I round it to 40. Then it gives me a little bit more leeway. Data center or NOC, you can put in here NameHero. No one sees this. Your customers don't see this. This is for you to identify that Lucas is at NameHero. And so it's up to you if you want to do this or not. It's optional. Maximum number of an account. Now remember, with our gold, we are allowed 60, so we can confirm that here. the number of accounts we can create. So 60. So we want to put that in here so we're not trying to create more accounts than we can allow for. Server status address. This shows the status in your networking center. So in WHMCS, there's a page that shows network status. If I go to NameHero and go to network status under support, it looks like this. I'm going to show you in another video how to set this up. It's not that important when you're first getting your first couple customers, until you have a ton of different customers and servers, this isn't a whole bunch of an importance. So again, this goes back to, we can go back and add all this stuff later. Disable, we don't want to disable it because we want customers to use it. If we look in here at the primary name servers, it's asking for the IP address. Again, this isn't necessary, but it is recommended. So we just get these from here. Copy. Go back over here a little closer. Paste, copy, and paste. All right, so now we can just save this again. All right, so now our server is set up. Okay, so the next step that I want you to do is, you'll see this error about the SSL. If you remember, SSL doesn't generate until DNS propagates. But if you recall earlier in this video, we manually generated it. So first, let's just verify this in case you're joining our video late or you're kind of skipping around. Let's go back to our client area and click Login to cPanel. And you want to make sure that this is primary domains validated. You can see here it's a lock. And we can also go to SSL, TSL status, and we just want to make sure there's green here. Okay, and you can back up in the video if you need to manually generate it. But if you've waited 24 hours after setting up your account, DNS is propagated, then this should be automatically done for you. So with that said, we go back into here and we go to Setup and General Settings. It's going to ask us for our password again, so let me grab that from my other screen here. Paste. And confirm. And so these are all the settings that we entered in that initial setup wizard. And I just want to change my domain to have SSL on everything. So I'm going to do HTTPS. And same here, HTTPS. And so this is going to make sure whenever WHMCS is called, it's using a secure certificate. Save. All right, so now you can see the lock here, and it gets rid of that error. So if I go to the main page of WHMCS, you can see I get this pop-up showing new features of WHMCS, and feel free to look at that. You can use all of that stuff, but I'm just going to close it out for the purpose of this video. Okay, so this is our dashboard. Once you start getting customers, this is going to show orders and tickets and all that stuff. But right now, I want you to set up your hosting packages so people can sign up at your site. So let's go back to our site and look at it now. If I refresh it, I've got the lock. It removed the domain box since I'm not doing domains at this time. Again, we can go back and add that later on, but I want to set up my hosting packages so customers can now sign up and get their hosting going. So let's get that started here. First, I want to go back to Web Host Manager. So I'm going to go back to NameHero, go back into Web Host Manager, and type in packages. Add a package. So these are the hosting packages that my customers are going to go sign up for. So I'm going to start off with a basic package, and you can call these whatever you want: basic, bronze, gold, the starter package, the one site package. It's whatever you want to call this on your site. But I'm going to start with just basic. Now, disk quota. You're going to see we have unlimited for bandwidth and quota. If you do want to offer unlimited, you can, but since you're a reseller, you need to enter a value into these because unlimited's not going to work since you are limited on the amount of space you can have, and we allow overselling. So this is a design of WHM that in order for you to oversell, we have to specify a value. So if you want to offer unlimited disk, just type in a couple 9s here. Same with bandwidth. If you want to offer unlimited bandwidth, put a couple 9s in here. All right, we'll just keep it like that. Max FTP accounts. I like just to say unlimited this stuff, but it's up to you. The big one is max add-on domains. So if you notice at NameHero on our hosting packages, we differentiate between how many domains they can host or how many websites they can host on their account. So the starter is 1, the plus is 6, turbo and business are unlimited. You probably want to do that as well, because if your customer comes on, you can say, hey, if you buy our basic package, you can host 1 website. You buy our next package, you can host more. So this is one way to kind of get your customers to pay more. So in Web Host Manager, I can say max add-on domains 0, and this means they can have 1 website. Park domains, this means they can park a domain on top of it. You can say unlimited or not. It's up to you. This really doesn't matter, but the add-on domains is a big one. The domains, the max hourly emails, these are already set by default, so you can't change these values. So this is the number of emails that they can send. It defaults to 50 an hour. If you need more for a customer, don't get mad. Some customers get really mad. Hey, it only defaults to 50. If you need more after your account's online, as long as we know you're not malicious and spamming, we can increase that for you. Just open a ticket. Okay. Down here, dedicated IP, this is irrelevant because you're a reseller. If you need a dedicated IP for the customer, you can order that through our support area. Send a support ticket and we'd be gladly to set that up for you. Same with shell access. If they need shell access, just log a ticket and we can get that added. CGI access, this is default. Keep that on. Most people are not going to, want to not have an account with that. Don't worry about the authentication digest. cPanel theme, there's only one, the paper lantern. You can add additional cPanel themes, but I don't recommend that starting out. Feature list, this is the features inside of their account. So you have mail, default, or disabled. So this is the exact features that are allowed inside of cPanel. So if I look inside of my default cPanel, that's like all these icons in here. So if you want to differentiate between packages, like what they can have access to and what they can't, you can do that inside of here. So by default, we give you everything. So, if you want to give your customers everything too, just keep it default. But if you want to change some stuff up, you can click View, and you can see you can create your own in here. So inside of Feature Manager, this is where you would do that. And so default's the default list, so you can't modify that. But if you wanted to create your own, you could do it inside of here. I'm going to leave mine default because I want to give them everything. I think most customers, they want to just give them everything as well. They want to limit the number of domains, but that is an option. And I've got training on that as well. But again, just starting out, give everything and let the feedback from your customers tell you what they want and what they don't want, and then you can really tailor your services to your customers. Locale, I speak English, and so I want my customers to see English as well. If yours is different, put it there. LVE settings, you cannot modify these. If you need to, this is an extra feature, and so we'll talk about that later on. But this basically is the RAM and CPU limits of the account. The default limits are going to be fine for 99% of accounts. If you run into these, then we can talk about that at that time. I'm going to click Add. So now if I go to Edit Package, you're going to see I've got this package here, so you could see that. Now, if I change my search to create a new account, you're going to see that just here's the accounts you can create. I've got 1 account, I can create 59 more. I've got 75 gigabytes of space. I'm only using 198 for my main site, so I've got plenty. Bandwidth, I'm not using any. And here's my packages. So this is where I would go to add an account, and select that package. But I'm going to use WHMCS. So at this point, we want to bounce back over to WHMCS and create that package. So I'm going to go to Setup, Products and Services, and I need to first create a group. So my first group is just going to be called Web Hosting. And this is the headline for the WHMCS page. It suggests select your perfect plan. I'll just put select your hosting package. And this is really for design purposes, but you don't have to fill this in if you don't want to. Our high-speed WordPress hosting packages. And I'll show you where this shows here in a second. This is the template for your order form. I like the standard cart, but you can do the comparison. These are all free to use and built in, so if you want the packages to display a little bit differently, it's up to you. We have PayPal set up, so we'll keep that selected. Hidden, if you want this like to be created where your customers can't see it on your site, you could do it that way, which of course you want them to see it, so we're going to leave that unchecked. All right, once we have our group set up, we're then going to add the product. So now we'll click Create a New Product. Now we want to add our basic hosting package that we just set up. So this is our basic hosting module. It's going to be cPanel because that's what we're using. Create is hidden, off because we want them to see it. Click Continue. And now we can put the description. So this is the features that you're offering your customer. Ryan, where do I get these quick and easy? From this page, from our shared hosting. You use these features here because this is what you can use for your customers. So US data center, hosting for one site. Remember, that's what we set up. Unlimited storage, unlimited SSD storage. So in WHMCS, you can list this out as well. Hosting for one website. We can enter BR. This is to break rule, new line. Unlimited SSD RAID 10 storage. This is where you tell your customer the features they're getting. Free, light speed, and you can edit this later on as well. But this just lets the customer know what they're getting. And I'm just going to list some basic of these features in here. Auto SSL is another big one. At the beginning of this video, we talked about, what you can offer. I also have another video called How to Offer Your Customers Premium WordPress Hosting. Is another great video to watch to, get all your product descriptions together. What was the last one I was going to do? Oh, Auto SSL. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. That's a couple options. Welcome email. This is a hosting account, so that's what they're going to get. This is pre-written for you. You don't even have to go write your own emails. WHMCS makes it super easy. Require a domain. This is going to show the domain registration options. Since you don't offer domain registration, that's fine, but they still need a domain to sign up, so keep that on. Stock control, this is if you want to enable how many you have in stock. I don't recommend that. Apply tax, wherever you're located, you might need to add the tax module. By default, you don't have to. That's up to your business when you set it up. Getting your first 5 to 10, just leave all this default here. Click Save Changes. Okay, so now the big one is pricing. How much are you going to charge? Free, don't do that. We don't allow free hosting at NameHero because you're going to get a lot of spam, like recurring hosting. Now this goes back to what this whole video is about. How much should you offer this package for your customers? Well, I think a lot of people, they want to do monthly. I recommend, quality over quantity. So this is our introductory package. Maybe we'll have another package that allows 6 websites. Remember, this one just allows 1. So maybe for the monthly price, we say this is $6.95 a month. Whoops, it's saved before I got it. $6.95 a month. Now what you can do is you can have them prepay quarterly, semi-annually, annually, or biannually, or triannually to save. So we do this at NameHero. The longer you sign up, the more you save. And so, if you sign up for a year at NameHero versus 3 years, you're going to save more with 3 years. So this is up to you, but this is where you determine that pricing. And you would enter not $6.95, you would enter, you'd multiply whatever you wanted the monthly rate for the quarterly. Or like for the semi-annually, that's times 6. The quarterly is times 3. The annually is times 12. So if you wanted like $5.95 if they sign up yearly, you would do $5.95 times 12 and put that price in here. I'm just going to do $6.95 a month because I just want to go out and grab those first 5 to 10 customers. Allow multiple quantities? No. Recurring cycles limits? No. All this stuff, just don't worry about it. Leave it default. All right, done. Module settings. You're going to be using cPanel. Server group, you don't worry about it. Web Host Manager package name. This goes back to that package we just created. This automatically populates because everything's connected. So if you add more packages in Web Host Manager, back over here into the package, add a package, they'll show here. So if you're creating a gold or a silver or a plus like NameHero, this is where that would be. You're basically telling WHMCS which package to give them in Web Host Manager. Now, this is to auto set up. We want to say automatically set up the product as soon as the first payment is received. So as soon as your customer's payment is received, their account sets up, they get their email, instant setup. Save changes. All right, custom fields, you don't need to worry about that. Configurable options, don't worry about that. Upgrades, if you have more than one package and you want to give them the ability to upgrade, if this package is one website hosted and you want to have a 6 or an unlimited, you could put those in here. Free domain, once you start registering domains, if you want to give them a free domain registration, let's say if they sign up for a year or more, this is where you configure that. Starting out, let's don't give away stuff. We're trying to maximize we're really trying to maximize the revenue right now to where we start making a profit. This is if you want to enable the affiliate program. I've got more videos and all that, but right now we're not going to worry about that. Links, this is the links that you would give customers to sign up, but we're not going to worry about that either. I'm going to show you on your site. So save everything. So now if we go back to our site, we're going to give it a refresh. If we go to order hosting, you can see our package shows here now. So now all we need to do is send this link to our friends, to our family, and get them to sign up. The site's now live essentially. It doesn't look the prettiest. There's still some stuff on here that's, we want to change, but this is our MVP. It's now functional. This video, I think it's going on like 3 hours because I've really meticulously went through step by step by step what you need to do. But at this point, you are ready to go out and get some customers. Get your first 5 to 10. You can go set up everything else later on, but now you can at least get some revenue generated to your site. I will show you really quick how to remove this news because this says, thank you for choosing WHMCS, and it doesn't provide any values. So let's just go into WHMCS. And I think it's under support network announcements. It's under support announcements. See, thank you for choosing WHMCS. Just delete that. Okay. If we go back and refresh, that's gone. All right. So now, this is our site. We've got our site name and, it's ready for our customer, or it's ready for our users to sign up. Powered by WHMCS Complete Solution. This is the powered by link. Remember, we can remove that by upgrading our license. And NameHero, all you need to do is manage add-ons. And you could click here to view update your order. And this is where you would upgrade that. So if you wanted to get rid of that, the discounted plus license, that would remove that link. So that's $60 a year, but you don't have to worry about adding more expense. Go get your customers. So now at this point, all I need to do is give this link out. Give my website out. If they go to wsphost.com, they go right to this page. They can go sign up for your hosting now. There's no more waiting. It's PayPal's integrated. The account's set up to start accepting customers. Regardless, I think now, regardless of where you are on the continuum, wherever you are experience-wise, that's all you need to do to have a fully functional website that can accept payments, that can set up hosting accounts, and you can begin making up the cost you just spent. And you say, well, Ryan, what about all this other stuff? Can I set up? Yes, we have videos everywhere, and I'm going to do more videos to show you how to set up everything. And I've got tutorials that, I think I've got a 5-hour tutorial on YouTube as well that goes into how to set up the support tickets and all that. But right now, you just want to get your first customers. Again, that's where most people hang up, is they want to get everything set up just right before getting their first orders. Now it's integrated to a point to where when your customers come on, they can go to order hosting, they can select a package, and well, hang on 1 second. Let's go back here and modify this. We need to change this to the domains, so my apologies. Let's go back in here. Since I did not set up the domains, I need to tick that off. So let's go back here now, refresh it. So now when they come in here, they can check out, enter their information, and sign up with your hosting. So, it really is that simple to start getting it. And look, everything, it's secure. They can enter their details. After they complete this, it's going to take them to PayPal to where they can pay. And you start making money, takes that heat off. And then you can focus on building your business from there. So if we round it up and said it's $20 a month is your cost, if our basic package is $6.95, then I basically need about 3 or 4 signups to begin making profits. That's not many, to get at that. So again, I start to think, who do I know that needs hosting? I could tell them, hey guys, listen, me at NameHero, it was my brother, my dad, my uncle, my cousin. I just started this hosting business because I see in the industry there's a need for a new host. I'm going to offer all these features. So whatever you're getting currently, tell me. And I can probably offer more than that. Most not can. I am going to offer more than that at a lower or even better rate than you're getting now. And everything's in one area for you to sign up. So that's it, folks. That's where you want to be to start making money with your reseller hosting business. Once those orders start coming in from those initial customers, then you can start to really start to tailor your services, tailor your design, get you a logo made, set up your domain reseller account. But getting customers early on is key. And even if it is a friend, family member, once you see them sign up for hosting and you see money coming in, it starts to motivate you more and more and more. That's the first mistake people make, is they want everything perfect before they start getting their business. So I'm going to conclude the video with this. Again, this is to a point to where you can begin accepting orders. If you've made it this far through this, I think nearly 3-hour long video, congratulations. Most people don't take that much action. So congratulations on getting to where you are. I'm super excited for you, and I'm super excited to be part of this journey. I want to specifically thank you for trusting NameHero in your journey. Look for many more videos. Our YouTube channel has hundreds and hundreds of hours of videos. Our blog, namehero.com/startup. We have tons of guides and stuff out there. Regardless of what you're trying to do, you're going to find material on that. And for those that once you get those first 5 to 10 customers, when you're looking to go to that next level, even to accepting VPS orders, we've got material out there for you. So thanks so much for watching and using us here at NameHero.com.